Hey, everybody. Welcome to Squatch Talk. I'm Pat, and let's jump right in. So, a couple of days ago, a bomb was dropped on the Bigfoot world by Richter, our friend, our satire friend. And he came out on a Reddit thread and just let this fly. Let's see if I could share it. I'm sure I can. You know me, it'll take a second. There are no producers here at Squatch Talk. So, oops, I don't want that. So here we go. Richter basically said that Russel Accord had told him that he had a filmed confession of the Patterson-Gimlin film being a hoax, talking about that. And the actual wordage, which I do have down in my description, is some sort of confession saying the film isn't what people think it is. So that can be subjective, right? I mean, you could go in different directions with that, but it basically implies that it's a hoax. So I agree with Steve Coles on that it's a cushiony way of saying it's a hoax. There's not really much else you can imply there. I could come up with some things, but it's a bit outlandish. So anyway, Richter posts on this thread, and some people see it. A lot of people in the Bigfoot world don't even catch this. It's not even on their radar. And some of you watching right now may not even know anything about any of this stuff. And so it gets passed around a little bit. It caught my attention, and I was like, man, I don't know what's this about? Is Richter full of crap? Because, man, Richter's Richter, right? Like, sometimes he rocks the boat. I say sometimes. He can rock the boat. And so I wasn't sure what to think of it, but I sort of just dismissed it as like, well, Russell to Richter to my ears, I don't know. Anyway, talked to Steve Coles yesterday. He tells me Richter's not full of crap. This is an actual thing. Russell told me that too. So at this point, it's verified to me. It's verified that Russel Accord has made these claims. And so now here we are. It's really starting to drop. And it's a big claim. It's a huge claim. And it's a claim that basically says, I don't care how much backpedaling happens at this point, but it's basically a claim that says the Patterson-Gimlin film is a hoax, and I can prove it because I have a confession from the only living witness, to the event. And so if he says it's a hoax, then it's a hoax, right? And also there was a sort of language thrown in there, as you could see, like on Richter's post on this thread, that it wasn't going to be released until after Bob and his wife had passed. So that's kind of interesting. So that's the way it went down. That's the bomb that, Richter dropped. And so here we are. Steve Coles did a show about it last night because his name got dropped. So in that thread that you just saw, if you read it, and I'm sure you did, that Richter had referenced that Russell had told him, Richter, and also Steve Coles. So Steve Coles' name got thrown in there. Steve Cole's phone starts blowing up yesterday, and then Coles decides to do a show last night, which I was on, and helped him out with a little bit. But Coles verified that no, this was also said to him. This very same thing was also said to him. So I think Richter's off the hook on this one, dude. I'm not. At first, I was a little suspicious. Like, is Richter trying to, shake things up? And why would he do it on Reddit? When he could run to his YouTube channel, and come up with some kind of breaking news thing. Like, he just very subtly went on Reddit, and it caught fire from there. So we got Coles saying, verifying, nope, this was told to me too. Russell made the same claim, which actually shifted Coles's attitude towards the PG film, which I personally noticed over the past year. Because me and Steve have not argued, but debated. And I'm like, why is Steve Coles debating the PG film like out of the blue, as if it was released yesterday? Very strange to me. And I realize why now, because he had this potential information, man, he didn't know what to do with. So anyway, that's where we're at. And today, of course, things have moved forward a little bit more, and so sort of some surprising things, like some things that surprised me. So anyway, I thought to bring on Thomas Steenberg, who is like, he's one of the guys that's connected to a lot of the old school guys and has known Bob Gimlin for, I think, about 20 something years, and is personal friends with them basically. And so I thought to bring him on and get his take and see what's going on. And so I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to bring Thomas into the fold. Hello, Thomas. How
Hello,
you doing?
Brad. How are you today, my friend?
I'm well, and I'm dying to dive headfirst into the deep end on this subject, and I'm glad that you could be here tonight. I think that's it's very important.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and keep this fair, even though I have opinions, and those opinions will probably be heard at some point. But let's just start from the beginning. Thomas, like, when did you first catch wind of this claim about Russell and having that kind of footage?
Well, I first heard about just a night ago when I was sitting with some friends, and one of them was Bill Reed, and he mentioned he had heard something, and I really didn't know what was talking about. When I got home, there was your show on with Steve Coles, so I watched the whole thing. And I thought, wow, this is interesting. And I've never had any problem with Steve Coles. And Steve Coles says something, in my opinion, and in my experience, when Steve Coles says somebody said something to him, I've never had any reason to doubt him. So I thought this is really bizarre. So I decided to skip everybody, and I called this morning at 9 a.m. Bob Gimlin directly, and talked to him. Well, I talked to Judy first, then I talked to him, and I got his take on the whole thing. He was quite surprised by it. He had not heard anything about it, had not received any phone calls or anything from anybody, which is good, because not too many people have his phone number. But I asked him straight out, is this alleged claim by Russel Accord true? Have you made a confession concerning the film? And he said categorically that it was not true.
Wow.
According to Bob Gimlin, no, he made no such confession to Russel Accord or anyone else at any time. And I suggested, well, he needs to have a long talk with Russell, and he agreed, and he had planned to He told me he was planning to do that today sometime. So we'll see what happens with that.
Well, let's hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you called Bob. Basically, you broke the news to Bob. So
Yes.
in the couple of days now that this has like been developing, Bob had actually not caught wind of it yet until you called him this morning after watching Steve Cull's show last night.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's the first he heard of it.
That's interesting. And then you and I talked and set this up.
Correct.
Also
Correct.
interesting.
I've been answering messages and emails and phone calls all day on this.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot to unpack here. But it's an extraordinary claim because if it were true, let's say, I'm even willing to say hypothetically, right? If it were true, then I mean that would shake the Bigfoot world to its core to lose that footage. That footage is important to a lot of people.
It would, but I'd like to point out there was a lot of reports of Sasquatch before the PG film, and of course a lot afterwards. To me, I've always said I'm 90% convinced the Sasquatch does exist, and I always leave 10% off in case I'm wrong. If it ever came out proven that the PG film was a hoax, that would probably reduce my belief in the Sasquatch from 90% to maybe 75%.
Right.
Yeah. It would be a blow, but it wouldn't be the end blow.
I agree. It's not at the end of the day, it's not the hill to die on.
Mm-hmm.
Just because in 50 plus years, it hasn't proven, the existence of Bigfoot, and it never will. Honestly, it's been analyzed to death. It'll never be, one day, years from now, a bunch of professionals look at it and go, they do exist. That's never going to happen off the PG film.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's not the hill to die on, but it would definitely, I think it would break some hearts and kill some morale in some ways.
It would basically mean that my good friend Bob Gimlin's been lying to my face for 25 years.
Right.
Right. And I don't personally believe that. And it's going to take a lot more than someone just saying something like that to convince me that that is the case. Yeah,
I agree. So
if Russell has a tape video of Bob Gimlin confessing, he should bring it forward now.
Right now, Russell.
Yeah.
And not that I think Russel Accord is watching my show right now. Maybe he is. Russell, you're welcome to come on here and explain what's going on. Yeah.
Of course, personally, I've never had a problem with Russell. We've always gotten along. I always thought he was a good friend of Bob's and was handling. And Bob's a big boy, and he's perfectly capable of making all decisions of who wants to, manage his affairs and stuff like that. But Bob is definitely going to talk to Russell now about this. Yeah,
I'm sure that conversation has already happened. I would imagine, unless Russell's not picking up the phone for some reason. But that's speculation on my part. And yes, Jay,
it's all hearsay. The real issue is not whether or not Bob Gimlin made a confession. The real issue is, did Russel Accord actually make this statement? And the same is true with Richter.
Well, I mean,
and I have no reason to doubt them. So,
yeah, again, that the fact that, okay, Stephen. I mean, well, I'd still like to have you on, Stephen. the fact that it's Coles and Richter, you know, that's so, you know, at this point, it's their word against Russell's, you know, and as you know, I know, you know, I'm not like best friends with Steve Coles, but I've gotten to know him over the past year and a half or so. And I mean, I have no problem with that guy's integrity, you know.
No,
I
I've watched
don't think I'm a bad judge of character.
Yeah, I watched his program before you had me on the first time when he had to hold a cell phone over the mic.
Yeah.
And then, way back over a year ago, when we were doing the massacre at Bluff Creek show, and I believe this is when this was is when because Russel Accord was on that program too, and I think it was later on in that show after I was off because I didn't have this Star Trek technology then. He had to hold a mic over. He had to hold a cell phone up to the mic while he talked to everyone else at the same time. And after I was off, they carried on, and Russell was on that show agreeing with me on all this massacre nonsense, and he gave no indication on that show that there was some horrible confession made, and apparently this was said to Steve by him just after the show when they were off the air.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And again, if Russell has that footage, he needs to go ahead and release it.
It should be released immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
At least in my opinion.
Yeah, that's fine. Steven, we'll be talking for a minute, man. You'll have time to get in. I'm gonna start bringing people in here in a few minutes.
Sure, bring in Angel Eyes. I like it.
Yeah. Hold on. Let's see. Hold on. It probably is pretty. Yeah. So this is an element. The problem is that if Richter is telling the truth, about what Accord said? He's known this for some time. Why say it now? Did Accord tell the truth at any point in this mess?
Well, Russel Accord is not the one who released this. It was that Richter fellow.
Right, but he's saying like is Richter's telling the truth? Like why did Richter sit on this for so long? The same could be said about Steve Coles, but Steve admitted on air. He said, if somebody tells me something, a secret that they don't want released to the public, I'm going to honor that. And so, I don't know why Richter. I tried to ask Richter last night in chat, but he was in chat, so it was convoluted conversation. Like, Richter, why did you do this? Because I think there might be some important elements to that. But, Richter may not want to go there. He may not want to say exactly why. It could be personal. I suspect it is, from what I know about Richter, it could very well be personal. And that I'm not saying anything bad about Richter. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying it could be. Again, man, Steve sat on this too. He had this claim from Russell, and Steve sat on it. And the reason why he sat on it is because he gave the guy his word he wouldn't say anything about it. I mean, and I take Steve for his word, man. I have no reason at all to get any red flags off that.
Mm-hmm.
And
well, it was kind of funny. According to what I heard, I got the impression that Steve confronted Russell about what was said to Richter, and he tried to backpedal.
And he did.
Yeah, and almost forgetting that he had said the same thing to Steve, and Steve basically said, "Hey, remember you said the same thing to me." So,
well, that's Steve told me that more than once.
Yeah.
And yeah, it definitely sounded like Russell had even that Russell did forget. He forgot that he had said that to Steve Coles.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I have no reason to not believe Steve on this. So this isn't about Steve Coles.
Yeah.
I believe Steve Coles. I believe Richter.
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to start any kind of challenging discussion about their involvement in this. So yeah, I mean, so Steve said on it.
This whole thing is a he said type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think, to be fair, we need to hear Russell, and I got no problem with listening to Russell and what he has to say about this. And I'm just telling you, this morning I went directly to Bob Gimlin, and that's what Bob Gimlin told me.
And that's the important part, because that's basically the first time that this is being said. So. Mm-hmm. So through you, Bob is speaking to the audience right now through you, whether he realized it on that conversation or not, right? That's what he said. That was your conversation with him.
Yep, and I'm sure he'll say some more in the days to come.
I'm sure he will go public at some point in some way, and that's I'm sure the appropriate platforms will be involved in that. Mm-hmm. I don't expect my platform to be that one. Bob knows a lot of people with big platforms in the Sasquatch world. He's good friends with them, So I'm gonna shoot out a couple of invites here. Sorry. I'm not good. Yeah, if you anything else you want to say about it real quick before we start bringing people in, now's the time while I'm like managing production.
This is just I feel sorry for Bob. He's a gentleman, and every time a controversy like this about the film, he must really hate the fact of that 30 seconds has dominated his life from back in 1967.
I can only imagine.
Yeah, and every time someone's something like this comes up, it's kind of funny because Bob is usually the last to hear about it.
Yeah. And this is a really good example of that, I think.
Yeah. When I phoned him this morning, he had no idea this was going on. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that really surprised me when you told me that. I was surprised by that. I really was. All right. I'm going to bring in Jay. Mr. Jay Birch.
Hey, gang. How you doing?
Hey, bud. Welcome to Squash Talk. How are you?
I'm very happy to be here, and it's really good to see Thomas. Boy, I'm so happy to see you, brother.
Hey, Jay, how are you? Are you out camping right now? It looks like it.
No. This is where I live, bud. This is
you lucky
right next to the forest. I was at Bumping Lake 2 weekends ago, though, and enjoyed that. Looking for this. There's a few things I'd like to say about this. I have met Bob Gimlin on multiple occasions and looked in his eyes, and I don't. One thing I realized, Bob left the Bigfoot world. I mean, years and years and years and years ago. Hey, you doing, buddy? And Richter. I'm sorry, Richter. Look, I like Richter, but I think he's the most famous Bigfoot internet troll. He likes to play all angles he can. But Russel Accord is friends and has video of himself with Rick Dyer and the Mountain Beast guys. All that fake stuff. That show that he's on has been proven to be 100% phony, and so I don't trust anything he says. People are so afraid to say something. Thank God I'm not. I don't give a shit. Nobody's paying me to talk at any place, and so I'm not worried about whether I'm going to get invited to whatever show he's going to put on. He throws one of the biggest yard sales there are in the Bigfoot world, and so I just don't trust the guy at all. But Bob. And also look at your history of this. John Green, 2 weeks after this happened, he took a 6'5" man up there and they walked the exact trail that Patty was on. And so There's no way Bob Hieronymus was in that suit. Look, I'm a military man. I can pass also a lie detector test. So, that means nothing to me. And if that doesn't hold up in court, that means nothing to me. I think that this bashing of Bob, now I've noticed, I've kept quiet, Pat, that I've been out of this for a little while, trying to recoup. I'm healthy again. And, I've seen this shit go right straight after Bob. I mean, really, you got people mostly from England, which is weird to me, debunking this whole thing. Yet, when you look at muscle movement and muscle shock, and again, with all of Hollywood telling you, one guy rode the coattails for many, many years until he came forward and says, I didn't make that suit. Then he made a suit. That very guy made a suit, put Hieronymus in it, and it was a joke. So I just don't. To me, this is as bad. I don't trust Richter, number one, and I absolutely do not trust Russel Accord. He writes fiction. Yes, God bless him for serving our country, and for that I'll always be respectful in that aspect. But he is good friends with hoaxers and known hoaxers. Now, why would you do this? And I posted this. You know me, Pat. I'm not afraid of anybody. Fuck them. But he posted, here he is standing with Rick Dyer, like that's the greatest thing in the world. And I said, I got right on there and I said, this is what's wrong with Bigfoot. Is this kind of shit right here. And then standing there with the mountain monster guys. Really? So I don't trust any of this. Do I have problems with Bob Gimlin? Not in that. But I was just recently at Bumping Lake and ran into some people up there. And Bob has done the circuit with the Woo crowd, with Thomas Cantrell and a few people like that. And he tells a story of seeing the Bigfoots walk across this camp and everything that my wife and I were just in 2 weekends ago. I don't buy it. I just don't buy it. And I think he's controlled a little bit. Bob left the Bigfoot world years ago, and Russell brought him back in. People brought him back in. He wanted nothing to do with it. He sold all that shit. He went on to ride motorcycles. He went on to do rodeos, and he went on to work with the sheriff's department. Bigfoot was he just didn't care anymore. And he was offered $1 million to say exactly what's being told to us right now. I'd take the $1 million and run. And also, if you're going to make this suit, and you're going to make this hoax, why the hell would you drive all the way from Yakima, Washington, to Bluff Creek, California, put some guy in a suit, but then never do it again? Look, they got all that attention, right? Oh my God, why didn't they do it right there in Yakima? Why didn't they come to Mount St. Helens? Why didn't they go over to Mount Hood? They were surrounded by all the greatest places in the world where you can find a Sasquatch. And then we'll just make a quick little tape, and then we'll throw away the suit and never do it again. Bullshit. You would have rode that till you got $1 million. You would have done
you could have made like 5 or 6 Patterson Gimlin films, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And
so that's where I'm at on this. I just thank you for bringing me on, buddy. I miss you, and I did mention you last night on another show I was on that you're one of my favorite people in this. Very straightforward and truthful. So that's why I respect you so much, Pat. You don't worry about what other people's feelings are like. So I'm happy to be here and support you.
Well, thanks, man. And hey, welcome to Steve to the show, man. How you doing?
Well, pretty good. Kind of confused, trying to make sense out of this.
Yeah.
This got handed to me a bit backstage after being on Steve Cull's show. We asked about his change in attitude about Patterson Gimlin, and that's when Leon and I were sworn to secrecy, and he brought up basically this whole story. So from that standpoint, I will absolutely corroborate what Cull's said last night on his show, that he and Richter were told that.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So Richter was ostensibly telling the truth about what he was told, and Accord has told at least 2 different stories about this.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'd just like to remind everybody that the issue of this time is not Bob Gimlin and the authenticity of the PG film. It's whether or not Russel Accord has garnered a confession from Bob, and whether or not he has video footage of Bob making said confession. And like you said earlier, if true, bring it out.
I agree. You have to show it now. You can't.
I mean, I knew Bob back in the mid '80s before he was basically still in limbo, and he never wasn't traveling to symposiums and things like that, because at the time Al Diatley had basically locked him out of everything for years. Remember that? And I was always under the impression that if anybody had a good reason to come forward and say Roger Patterson faked this film, it was Bob Gimlin.
Yeah, especially if there's money on the table.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
Which,
and, Bob got so sick of the whole thing, ready to hand and badgered him to sell.
I'm sorry, there's a delay.
Yeah, badgered Bob to go after Mrs. Patterson for certain rights, and Bob got so sick of the whole thing, he said, "You, here, $20, you do it," and left it at that. But you know, Bob has always just told the same story and everything else, and despite massive reasons and personal reasons that come forward and say that none of this is true, Bob has always stuck to the story. And all I can do is tell you what, when this latest controversy came out, I just went straight to him. And according to him, no such confession happened and no such video footage exists.
Everyone made money off this, but Bob Gimlin. Okay,
Yeah.
he basically gave his rights to all of this to Renee DeHinden.
Mhm.
Now, I knew Renee DeHinden as a personal friend, and he trusted Bob. And let me tell you something: if you do, you can ask Thomas. Renee DeHinden was a surefire, spitfire, get in your face. If he believed Bob 100%, and I'm telling you, man, this whole thing is bullshit. This is another attention grabbing. Here we are, over 50 years later. Look what we're doing. Are we solving anything? Fuck no. What we're doing is here we are again, attacking the only man left alive that can help us, but nobody cares. It's people just can't go to Reddit, man. I say you made it. If you make it on Reddit, you made it, man. You made it. These people have no soul.
Well, I'll say this because I've always wondered. I've heard this claim that Bob was offered $1 million, right, to come clean by what I can only imagine is a production company or
I think it was Carl Croft that made that offer, wasn't it?
Huh?
Tom Piscardi.
Yeah, and Piscardi. Yeah.
Yeah. It was just to have like a round table discussion with them.
Yeah. And Bob said no, because it's not true.
Really? Okay, so Biscardi was the one who said, we'll do the $1 million thing, roundtable discussion. I'm guessing it would have been televised somewhere, prominent, right? Not just like VHS taped or something like.
Yeah, knowing Tom, he probably was going to live stream it, pay-per-view type of event, and yeah, I mean he's the ultimate.
That guy has passed out. That guy has passed out on his own show, his own podcast. He gets so drunk he passes out during the podcast. That's why Wes Germer years ago, before Wes kind of got a little class, made fun of him one night. He's like, "Geez, if you got a podcast, maybe before the show you don't drink so much." He literally passed out in the middle of his show.
That's funny. And yeah, nothing's been taken down, Robert Walker. Everything's still in play. All right. So do you guys know when this offer was made? Like what time frame roughly?
It was probably like 10 years ago, 10, 15 years.
Around the time that that horrible
Georgia
book. Yeah.
the
author. Yeah, his name's gone on my head. He wrote that book, saying it was the nail in the coffin of the Parrish and Gimlin film.
Oh,
Oh, what's his name?
Protholo? Donald Protholo?
No.
no, it's
Oh shit, where'd
I
Jay
got
go?
his book on my shelf here somewhere. I'm just trying to see it.
Jay disappeared. I don't know why. It wasn't me.
Oh, I
Uh,
can't believe his name's gone out of my head. He wrote the book, The Making of Bigfoot.
yeah.
What was his name? It's when all that was going on.
okay.
And before, I mean, I think the BBC has offered Bob money in the past, in their words, come clean of the whole thing, and he basically just tells them to go away. So,
Yeah. And to that I say, like, even
Greg Long.
Yeah,
Greg-
Greg Long. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. I was
so
like, God.
like even if that's not easy to verify, which it probably is, if you dug deep enough, you could verify it. But even if it wasn't, like Bob Gimlin could make a deal with the Discovery Network tomorrow.
Yep.
On his own. He
TMZ.
could approach them and go, you know what? The whole thing was a hoax, and I can explain exactly how we did it. And man, they would scoop it up and ship it out, and he would be a millionaire, and his grandkids would be taken care of for a minute, right?
They've also offered ridiculous amounts for the suit. Where's the suit? No, Bob Hieronymus, why wouldn't you have that suit? And it's not just Bob Hieronymus. Thomas can tell you there's a couple people claim to be the man in that suit.
Mm-hmm.
So
Was it Doug Hijack? Hold on, sorry. Some Jeff saying, Pat, it was Doug Hijack that offered $1 million, and I didn't know that. I talked to Doug about a month ago on here. I wish I'd have known that. I would have talked to him about that a lot.
I think he might be mistaken about that one because it was Tom.
Yeah.
Started, and I can understand why Bob wouldn't want to take that offer anyways, because it's not guaranteed money.
No,
it's coming from a guy who's probably deeply in debt, and I mean, look what he did.
that's Jeff Gunther is a good friend of mine. We go. We're both members of a whiskey tribe, and we send gifts back and forth. He's in New York. He's a good guy. He's got some stories himself that I think that you might be interested in, Pat. Thank you for that, Jeff. It's wrong, but it's still okay.
So yeah, it's my only point to the, as far as Bob confessing and their money involved, Bob could have pulled that trigger anytime he wanted to, if that were the case. Or one could even argue, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know how you make up the explanation.
Yes.
Because I'm fairly convinced what I'm looking at is real. But still, one could argue, yeah, sure, I'll tell you how it was hoaxed, and you're a millionaire, I'm pretty sure Bob's not a millionaire. Is that fair to say?
No, but his legacy is not to be a problem. His land alone in the Yakima area must be worth $1 million at least. I mean, you could buy ranches back in the 50s and 60s for a lot cheaper, and they're hold on to them because they're worth a lot now.
Yeah. His horses are probably worth thousands of dollars. His equipment, all that stuff.
I never said I believed Russell. And in fact, just right here, right now, for the record, I do not believe Russell. Mm-hmm. Because at this point, since I have a verified statement from Thomas, which I got way before this show happened, or way earlier today, verified statement from Bob, outright denying, nope, that never happened. That's not true. No, that's true. Yeah. So do I believe Bob or do I believe Russell? Yeah. I believe Bob, not Russell.
And Russell could settle this by basically letting us hear or see this footage he has.
Yeah, you have to show it now, dude. You don't have time to shop it to the History Channel.
Yep, you can't wait for years after Bob's demise and Judy's demise to try and sully his name afterwards, assuming whatever your motives may be. But Russell, never had a problem with you. You just got to tell your side of this.
It's not fair to Bob, and it's not fair to people. One of the reasons why I left doing things like this is I like to be a guest, but actually, being a partner in a podcast and stuff was a fan base. And I don't want a fan base. I want answers. I want truths. I'm seeking what happened to me and my wife. And I don't think this is fair to Bob, because it's hearsay. And I think, Russell is trying to finagle. Oh, look, we're getting attention again. We can make some money. That's how I see this whole thing. That man to me is just a scumbag. Seeing he has rode Bob's coattails in such a way as Bob never asked for a thing. And when you talk to this man in person, Bob Gimlin, you're looking at one of the most gentle human beings. His eyes are so full of beautiful honesty, and he doesn't talk about Bigfoot. When you're talking to him, he'll talk about all kinds of stuff. It's just a wonderful thing. I met his wife. I took a picture with Judy, and she says, "Why do you want a picture with me?" I said, "Because everybody takes a picture with Bob. I want to be the one to take a picture with you." And so I believe that even though Russell has more money, all that shit, I think he's ridden the coattails to get some fame from Bob. When Bob's gone, they're gonna do everything they can to make stories and rip this poor old man off, man.
God,
it's
I hope not.
extremely sad to me. Every time a researcher dies that had some kind of dignity, they start picking at him. And I hate that. And one of the few guys that I know of that died that you couldn't put a hole in anything he did was Renee DeHenden. That guy could stand toe-to-toe with any PhD, with any scientist, and he could win every single time. And he didn't give a shit if there was 5,000 people standing there watching him. He did not care. He would disrupt an entire symposium to tell you this is crap, and here's why. And I will always, always respect him.
My kind of guy, for sure.
Yeah. Here's get the rocks out of your head.
There we go.
But it didn't stop him from trying after Rennie passed. After all, he's one of the Canadian commandos that went down there and massacred all the Sasquatch. So there you go. It always happens.
Thomas, you could tell everybody too. Where did Renee live? He lived on a damn where people go shoot the guns. After a
Vancouver
and he lived in like a container. I mean, he was not living the high life and living the dream from his for killing Sasquatches. It just, God, it's so stupid.
Yeah, it was, listen, the massacre theory isn't the subject tonight, but it's tinfoil hat nonsense.
Right. Yep.
Everybody who's not an inmate in the asylum knows that.
Yeah. That's behind us forever in my book. Like that's.
No, I'm sure someone will bring it up again.
Yeah. A few years, it'll be relevant again. And there's Davis doing his live streams. Doing his wonderful live streams.
It'll diminish. I promise.
Everything's always recycled in this subject.
They do, because we always have new people coming in, right?
Yeah.
So.
Well, yeah.
I don't know.
I've tried to teach the new people, the ones that I trust. I ran into some good people this 2 weeks ago up at Bumping Lake. I wanted to go
there he is.
With you, Brent. And, I don't know if you got the message.
Yes, I did get your message. I'm sorry. It's been, life has been incredibly upside down. Sorry.
Well, we're going to go back in August, and we're going to meet up with Shelly, come to Montana up there, and we'll see what we can do. There's my buddy right there. When other people say that they got the Hulk, I say I've got a Leon.
Leon of Sasquatch, Okanagan.
Yeah, Oh,
no.
Yeah, it seems like we got an interesting thing to solve.
I hope the system is capable of negotiating it. This will be interesting to see how it all unfolds. That's for sure. Talk about a sacred cow. This is one of the biggest ones. So
it's
Right.
definitely entertaining. You know, if I was Russ, I would be hopping on a live stream being like, hey, this is what's up. This is what I said. I don't know. I'd be doing some sort of damage control because he's still trying to get probably a season 3 with Expedition Bigfoot. So, you know, you don't want to start some shenanigans with the most beloved figure in the Bigfoot subject.
Well, according to the accusation, this is something Russell was going, if the accusation is true, and in my opinion, it probably isn't, but if it is true, he was saying he was going to wait till long after both Bob and Jim passed away before he was going to drop this bombshell. So it all comes down to was Russell telling the truth to Steve Coles a year ago when he first told Steve Coles this, or was he telling the truth last night when he was denying all this to Steve Coles? So again, there's a lie going on here, whether it was a year ago or just a day ago. So one of them, Russell's got to come forward, at least in my opinion now, and give his account of this, and
Right.
from there. Yeah.
This reminds me of the Mommy Dearest thing. Christina Crawford wrote that book. They made that movie, destroyed her mother, years after her death. Yet all her brothers and sisters, including the adopted ones, say this is a lie. And this is what's going on right now. We got this Christina Crawford thing going on. And if you would have waited till Bob is dead, like they do with all of them, they use that Bobby, I can't remember the rest of her name, to support that massacre theory even. So, but how could you, yes, look, she's dead. How the hell do we know? And this is what's going on now is I was going to wait. Well, why didn't you wait? And I just, none of this makes any sense to me.
Well, it is kind of funny because if it turns out to be true that Bob did say this, not saying he did, then the whole MK massacre thing is totally fabricated, which we already know. But I mean, that's the funny thing is, if this turns out to be a factual thing,
right?
Everybody, and this is what I was saying to you guys offline there about the sunken cost fallacy. A lot of people, including Meldrum and them, they have invested a lot of verbiage online, using it as support and defended it and all that kind of stuff. And when we talk about systems, the idea of when you have a sacred cow like that is, will you bend the knee if it turns out to be the other way? So, and I agree with everything you guys have said so far tonight too, by the way. But that's what I'm waiting for. I'm studying this one for sure as the system. It's just like all of a sudden somebody comes into the system, declares something into the system, and the system goes crazy over the whole information. So let's see the capacity we have as a community to negotiate it the correct way. So
I bought popcorn, so I'm ready.
I thought about that video you posted of the guy coming out, putting the chair down and sitting down.
Oh yeah, the GIF, yeah.
Do it. I'm like waiting for us, man. I should go follow him or something like that to so I get alerted if he's on. I want to see the comments in real time.
Does he have a Facebook page or anything like that? I'm familiar with him.
I was friends with Russell up until about a month ago, and I'd had enough. I just lost an internet friend yesterday or 2 days ago, and I mentioned this on the show I did last night. Is look, you're posting pictures of here you are with your buddy Russell, Tom Cottrell, and you got Bob Gimlin on the same stage with Russell standing behind him. I was like, Russel Accord is one of the biggest hoaxers out there, and so is Cottrell. And she's like, you better be careful who you're. I was like, look, the show has already been proven to be phony, so it's a hoax. It's and I was just like, but anyway, next thing you know, she's gone. No longer my friend, because I asked a question, because I made a statement. I'm just like, well, then, there's a problem. If you unfriended me, there's a problem. I don't have the problem because I didn't lose a second of sleep from it.
Well, Expedition Bigfoot is a 100% produced show, filmed on location, on a set with a production crew. and an outline for the show. It's not even as like organic as Finding Bigfoot was. Finding Bigfoot evolved into somewhat of an organic production situation, which was kind of cool. I think it helped. It actually helped its success once they found their rhythm with that. But Expedition Bigfoot is 100% produced, and this
The only
is
thing that made that
the
organic.
DNA is complete PR stunt.
The only thing that made that organic was maybe the town halls.
Yes, that. Mm-hmm.
They began to be staged too, because Cliff and Bobo talk about how not staged, but they had gotten to the point where there was like 700 people would show up. So they'd pick like 10 or 15 of the best ones, and then you'd kind of have some people put in there type of thing.
Yeah,
I trust Cliff. I don't have a lot to say about the rest of them, but Cliff has a museum here. Cliff goes out all the time and investigates, so I do trust him. I think that the almighty television camera and the dollar can get the best of us, but I trust him. But the whole rest of that stuff, I think Bobo's seen every creature in the world there is, ghosts and flying, bat squatches and whatever else. So and I'm not saying anything bad about it. I'm just like, we got to take the sensationalism out of it, and I do trust his opinions and things like that. I don't cater to him in any way. I don't follow him or anything like that. He's on my lower end of who I trust and who I think is responsible in this field.
Well, I'll say this. Both shows are made for the general public, not the Bigfoot world. They always want to pull in that element, but the Bigfoot world's not big enough to sustain a Discovery Channel type TV show. So they're made for the general public, and that's why Expedition Bigfoot is 100% produced, because it's fodder, it's gobble to the general public, The
shows are made for people who don't give Sasquatch 15 minutes of thought a year.
Reddit posted basically 2 days ago also that picture, Stacy Brown's. I think he told Richter. Yeah. He's another one who told Richter that that's fake. I don't have an opinion on it myself. I don't care. But what is going on here with? Oh yeah, he told me this. Why would you say that? I mean, why would you tell somebody? Oh yeah, I hoaxed this. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, but if Richter told you, it might make sense. That's all I can say. But yeah, I find that footage, that thermal footage, inconclusive as best.
Me too.
Yeah, I used to like that footage, but when you learn about kind of the history behind it and how potentially it's his friends and how it was something that was probably pulled on his dad, I kind of, lost my allure for that video. And I don't know. It just seems like the Bigfoot researchers that are looking to establish themselves in the entertainment side, they need to have some sort of evidence or experience to help validate them being in that position. And I kind of feel that that's what Stacy Brown's thermal footage is now, is just a way to help establish him to be, part of that entertainment side.
It probably exposes the problem with thermal footage in general. I mean, to the general public, they're basically taking the photographer's word, because all they see is Casper the Friendly Ghost on a dark screen.
Yeah.
Even if it was,
that's right. That's it's crappy thermal. Yeah. I mean, it's low end thermal. Yeah. With advanced thermal, you wouldn't get that. You get much more detail.
No.
Well, part of the thing I'm hoping is going to happen in this is, it's kind of funny because I was talking the last couple of months when I've been online being interviewed, and that I talked about what if they just hypothetically proved the Gimlin tape or film to be just totally wrong, totally fake, totally hoax. And I think you guys touched on it a bit, and Steve Culls was talking to you, Pat, about it last night, which is it doesn't make really a big difference to it. And there was somebody who asked if we could explain the difference between when Sasquatch became kind of a religious faith in people, because the scientific method isn't about believing in anything.
Right.
It's following where the facts take us. And the crucial thing that's been missing online is for us who've come online interested in the topic, is this spoon feeding of the channels we've been watching, picking up a narrative that these things all represent Sasquatch, but there's no bloody due diligence. Like poor Jay there. I mean, he's been, just like you said earlier, I just want to know the facts. I want to know information that actually helps us actually discover whether or not they're real or how to track them down, would be a better way of saying it. We haven't got past that point yet. Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, if it was proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that the PG footage was not authentic, it would probably reduce my belief in the Sasquatch from what it is now, about 90%, to maybe 75%. Because there were sightings reports long before the film and sighting reports long after, and the film doesn't take away the tracks I have personally looked into, the hundreds of people I've interviewed, and the thing I may have seen myself in 2004. So, no, it wouldn't. If it was proven, it would. A lot of people would flip their lids, but yeah, I don't think it would destroy the possibility of the Sasquatch existing. Period.
Well, the other part of it too is, remember, there was castings taken of the so-called event. So all the narrations that would be attached to those tracks would all come up into question. We'd have to relook at everything over again.
The only thing would come from it is Roger Patterson would have to be officially declared the greatest personal hoaxer that ever lived.
Nope.
Yeah.
A tobacco spitting, old time country boy from Washington State. This is where I live. I bet I was in Yakima, close to Yakima, just a couple weeks ago. It's just this whole thing to me is just, God, really. And I've watched all this trying to debunk. Why is it so important? There's so much time and effort spent by people around the world trying to debunk this. I just don't get it. I don't. And they keep continually picking on Bob. Wouldn't you, like I said, why would you go all the way to Bluff Creek? Down in these places, they got washed out. They were in actual fear for their lives. Why would you do that when you're surrounded by, here in the state of Washington and Oregon and Idaho's right up there? Why? Why would you do that?
I believe.
By the way, just before they went down to California, Roger and Bob were in the Mount St. Helens region. Why didn't they do their hoax up there? Why did they wait till they got a message from John Green that something was happening down in California? Go down there, say with their 100-foot roll of film, waste 2/3 of it, and just get the last 352 frames or something if they're going to figure it. It just doesn't make sense.
Common sense, man. It's just common sense.
Common sense, yeah.
What makes sense to me is that he was shooting a 1960s Bigfoot documentary. And with the last few feet of film, may have actually stumbled upon the real thing.
Yeah, and quite frankly, his plan of a homemade documentary on Sasquatch went out the window when that happened. He never mentioned that documentary again. Yeah, he lost interest in the documentary. He thought he had the proof.
Yeah.
And when him and his brother-in-law screwed Bob out of everything right from the get, don't you think Bob would have said, well then, hey, here's what happened. Okay? Here's what happened. We hoaxed this whole damn thing. So booyah. No, that didn't happen.
No one had a bigger and more legitimate reason to say Roger Patterson faked this film than Bob Gimlin did from 1968 to about 1990. Yeah.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
You're probably the best one to know this. You guys probably might know it. Now, did Roger Patterson do up a book prior to the film?
Yes, 1 year before. Do the abominable snowmen in North America really exist?
Right. And was there any pictures in that book?
Drawings. Drawings.
Yeah. And do you remember how he drew the Sasquatch in that book?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Was it male or female?
Well, which one? There's drawings of both.
Okay. So there's the one with the hunter, and he's kind of crouched down, and the Sasquatch is coming across. There's a female picture.
William Rowe.
Right.
Yeah. Now, what he did, he actually plagiarized a piece of work that was done by somebody else and copied it.
Okay.
and put it in there. So Roger wasn't the original artist of that. He took another drawing that was made by somebody else and did his own version of it.
Right.
Yeah.
The reason why is we're supposed to be critical thinkers and stuff, and I do a lot with dealing with people who deal with deception, of course. So, and there's a thought process that happens in regards to when you're going to start fabricating things, and everything builds on what comes before. So there's evidence prior to the film of him coming up with the idea of a female Sasquatch, which we talked about a couple of times in the past year or so. Why a female? Why not just a male? And then why is the Sasquatch? I'm playing devil's advocate here, by the way. Why a female Sasquatch to be filmed instead of just a regular male? For instance, the guy who did the Independence Day footage, he has a baby there, it's carrying it. He didn't make it a female Sasquatch, he made it a male Sasquatch in that video. So I'm just, when you're looking at how people build perceptional, I'm not saying they're hoaxers, but they're schemers. You could call them.
You can go all the way back, Leon, and you could see the like with the early documentaries or when people were being interviewed and all that. It was always he. Everything was always as though Sasquatch is just he. Even the documentaries, the guys that were narrating them, Sasquatch, he is a vegetarian. He. So, you know, I think they would have probably went with a he. I'm just saying, for me, that's.
Well, that's what I mean, why come up with a she? Now, I'm playing devil's advocate because we're supposed to be critical thinkers here.
Right.
I'm going to put my neck out here. I'm not sure if I buy the film. So that's my personal opinion. I'm not saying.
In his book, he had two drawings of female Sasquatch. One was the plagiarized William Rowe image, and the other one was he published drawings of Albert Ostman's story.
Right.
And he had a drawing of the individuals that were in that group that allegedly captured Albert Ostman. Of course, the old lady, he drew her, and she was obviously female, who had seen better days. So,
yeah. So basically, he's going off anecdotal accounts of supposed Sasquatch females. So relevant to the book when dealing with the anecdotal accounts.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And why go through the trouble of adding breasts to a already very complicated costume would have to be, I don't know.
And making them look natural. As far as the pendulous part, they look natural. And
very
why
natural.
would you, if you're going to have the type of equipment they had? One thing I noticed when I saw Renee's still photos, you could see the nipples very clearly. So would you actually go that far? I mean, I'm still trying to put myself back then because I was a little boy at that time.
Could you go that far is the question.
Yeah. I mean, how would you do that? I just,
it's virtually impossible.
I thought about this like Leon. My whole life I've thought about this, especially after, the encounter my wife and I had. And I've wondered forever. I mean, when I saw those still photos, and they're nothing like you've ever seen on TV and all that, these are pretty damn clear. You could see I thought in her eyes, she was kind of angry. You could see some sort of it felt to me like she was leading them away somehow. I just, I don't put magic into it, none of that kind of stuff. I just think that this would be so miraculous, really. Because I was alive back then. I was a young boy, and I lived up on a mountain when that all came out. And so I just, I don't know. I can't imagine, because the Planet of the Apes had come out like a year later or whatever. And all that was facial makeup and feet and hair on the hands. There was no full body anything. So people need to understand there was not costumes. It was facial stuff. And when they talk, not like the modern day Planet of the Apes, when they talk, nothing moved. It just kind of did this kind of thing. I still love those movies, but yeah, man, I'll tell you what, if that's fake, then God bless them. That was something very amazing for the time. I don't buy that it's fake. I don't think those two guys were intelligent enough, honestly.
And you go by Greg Long's book. the first 352 pages, he says Roger Patterson made the costume himself out of dead horse hide. And then in that last chapter, which was kind of like a rabbit he thought he pulled out of the hat, he said Philip Morris, the carney, made the costume and sold it to Roger Patterson. So he basically contradicted the previous 352 pages of his own book.
Right.
And so again, you're absolutely right. I mean, in my opinion, the pulling off a costume like that, especially back in 1967, which was like, I don't know, 15, 20 years before they even had the kind of latex undergarment to make, muscle movement and stuff like that in costume. It didn't exist. And, well, I still argue for the film's authenticity only because of the what I call the intermemorable index that seems to be apparent in it. But again, it all comes down to what this is all about. Russell Accord's claim that Bob Gimlin has made a confession that he has footage of. And
that's totally it right there.
That's what it's all about. And if it's true, he's got to bring it forward.
Yeah, I agree.
And the other thing too is, does he believe that up to that point, we should just do some research and see, does he ever, Russell, ever talk about the Gimlin film, and does he talk about it as a factual belief that he believes it to be factual? Because that would be a good one. If you find that video, send that link to me so I can look at his body language, because there's going to be a tell right there. If he knows that that experience, he has it on film too. He knows it. It's going to show up in his micro expressions. So he might be sitting there. Well, the Patty tape is totally fact and all this kind of stuff. His shoulder's going to go up. I don't know if you guys caught how quick that was. It's totally fact. One of his shoulders is going to go up. He's going to have a certain look in his eye. So if you guys find any videos where he's talking about the Patty tape or film and he's believing it, send it to me. Hopefully it's after the time supposedly when he had said these statements to Richter and to Steve as well, not prior.
And have you seen the film that somebody from England just put out not too long ago, trying to a body language reader that tells you all about why Bob is a liar? And they go on. He shows all his body movements and stuff. When this particular interview Bob did, he was so fed up at the time that he had been asked to come back, and then he was interviewed. But I didn't see it. Nothing put my radar on that. Oh, and if you do this and if you do that, Bob never got angry. He said, "See how he got angry here?" I was like, "He's not angry. What the hell is going on here?"
Well, some of the stuff he was saying, but the problem, I definitely watched that because I wanted to see what his interpretation was of it. But when I did up the video regarding the massacre between MK and Bob, and I went through Bob's videos, that's Bob. And Bob was going to, and we do this. I mean, we've said things online that it wasn't the right word, wasn't the right timing or the layout of what we thought we've said other times on other shows, kind of thing. And that does happen and stuff. And, with Richter, I love what Richter does. I think he's just a complete ass, but he's a brilliant ass. And he's deliberately an ass. He's doing it to shake up everybody because he's sick to death the same way I'm sick to death of it. And I said to Richter a little while ago, I sent him a message, you and I should talk, because I totally get where he's coming from. And he's right. Yeah. Again, when you have somebody, when I'm teaching courses and that, we talk about systems, and I always say to the class, I said, do not go back to the system and declare the reality of the system to the system. They can't handle it because you're pulling them out of their denial, and they don't like being pulled out of their denial. And that's why Richter's such a thorn in the flesh. When I started watching when I first got online 5 years ago.
Get under your nerves like fast. Richter, I got total respect because he's out. I find myself being a lot like him in a way of I'm sick and tired of all this bullshit in the Bigfoot world. All I want is answers. No one can tell. How come nobody was there to help us after we were literally chased by one? I went to those stupid flea markets, or what do they call them, conferences, and I was so upset about that. I was so completely upset. And I used to follow Richter here and there. I get a kick out of his humor, but at the same time, I think sometimes, man, just shut the fuck up. You know, I mean, I just sometimes you go a little overboard. I'm sure I do too, but he was there for me when there was a gal I believed a couple of years ago about she saw a Bigfoot in a park in California, was going to sue the state. And he was right. He sent me a personal message and he told me everything about her. And I you know, unfriended him and all that. And I was just thinking, oh man, you're so full of shit. You know, and this gal, she's a complete fraud. You know, I apologize for that, Richter. You know, I should have trusted you, but
well, I think that's the thing is when you're listening to, yeah, I'll give you a second here, Steve. Okay. When you're listening to Richter, if you don't know how to sift through the data, you're going to be turned off by some of the stuff he does. But what he's talking about is usually valid. Mm-hmm. Whether you like it or not, it's valid. And trust me, because I work in systems and I work and go into systems and I reveal the situations to the system. you're you know, I'm going to be labeled as hating people or whatever it comes up with. But the bottom line is, if you have enough intelligence, it's not that people aren't intelligent, it's just that people aren't used to, you know, we like the fluffiness of things. Well, are we serious about Sasquatches or aren't we serious about Sasquatch? 20 years, we've been doing it for 50 years. We're not moving ahead one iota. Richter's totally correct at going to say what he's saying about people and stuff like that, whether you like how he's delivering the message or not. He's totally right. When I did the you know, this whole thing, I still haven't done the video 3 for the slow cam report for the BFR or from Matt Moneymaker claiming that this is the best Sasquatch of 2020. Why not, Leon? Because of the bullshit. The bullshit, it's literal bullshit that I've come, like Thomas has said, it's the inmates have taken over the asylum. Well, the online scene, yes, but not what we're doing, not what we've been trying to do, you guys. We're trying to do this other thing, which we should keep doing. I'm hoping that this is going to split, because we talked about the wave coming, which is the younger generation just is tired of the bullshit. Everyone's saying this is a Sasquatch without explaining that part, the important part, explain to us why that is a Sasquatch. And I'm hoping that this part is going to cut us in the middle and divide the two camps. We're already divided, but it makes it more distinct because we want to find out what we're actually looking for. That's what we're supposed to be doing out here as citizen researchers. And we're slowly upping the game, but moving a huge ship takes a long time to turn it around. Steve, sorry, buddy.
Hold on. I'm sorry. I've got to intervene here.
Okay.
Or just give me a second. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show, Mr. Richter.
Hey, right on.
Hey, ladies. What's up, girls?
So,
what is the subject of discussion tonight?
I don't know.
I wanted to come on and give you guys a little bit of history that you don't know. I got Russel Accord the gig on Expedition Bigfoot. Bill Lancaster told me there was a production company looking for people for a Bigfoot TV show. And he lined up the audition for me. And had a great audition with Skype. They liked my experience on Bigfoot Bounty. And they asked me, okay, the original premise was teams of 2. And they said, do you have a partner? Now, Russell and I were in talks with other quote unquote headhunters for our own TV show. And nothing panned through that. We were in talks with Peter von Puttkammer. I'm sure you guys have heard of him. And in the 11th hour at the History Channel, our show pitch was rejected. Okay, back to the drawing board. And this is when I thought Russell was a true brother. I thought he was a decent human being. I didn't listen to everybody that was warning me. I'm a grown man. I can make my own decisions on people, right? My success, I share with my friends. So if I get a gig, I'll give it to you as well. That's who I am. I'm a very giving person. So I get this audition and it went well. And they asked me who'd be my partner. And I said, well, Russel Accord. They interviewed Russell. They liked him a lot. The casting director thought Russell and I had a great dynamic. He's the butch, macho, army, military guy, and I'm the big screaming queen. All right, fun. Fine, sure. I'm sure that would make good entertainment. Well, time goes by, and I get a phone call from Russell saying, hey, have you by chance heard of a TV show called Expedition Bigfoot? And I said, no. He goes, oh, just checking. 1 week later. Hey, Richter, have you by chance gotten an email from a guy named Pete Ritchie? No. Well, check your spam folder. I look. No, there's nothing there. Why? Oh, never mind. Then 1 week later, then he fesses up that he was cast on the show. And I'm like, why don't you just come right out and tell me? I mean, that would be something I'd be like, hey, Pat, guess what? I got the gig. Did you get the gig? I wouldn't be beating around the bush playing coy for 3 fucking weeks, right? Friends don't do that. So, okay, obviously they chose Russ, which I'm glad. I'm happy. I support you. Why didn't they cast me? And he says, I think they were looking for someone with more of an education. Those were his exact words. Okay. I have an associate's degree. I don't have a bachelor's in science or anything like that. All right, I guess that's the reason, right? But you know how your gut never lies to you? Your gut always tells you the truth. And something told me something's not right with Russ. He's not forthright. He didn't come right out and tell me, right? I felt like I was owed that. I got him the gig he's been dying to get on a Bigfoot TV show. Nonetheless, he filmed season 1, and I waited about 6 months, and I asked him again. So you lost that one guy, RPG, in the first episode, and you know what happened? Why didn't you think about having me come on, your original partner? And he goes, oh, I don't know. So what's the right answer? Either I don't have the education background behind me, or I don't know. He's a fucking liar, and he's used me. I have put him on numerous shows with the Crypto Blast, talking about Bigfoot topics to help him with his fucking stupid bullshit international Bigfoot conference, right? Yep. I have helped elevate him in the Bigfoot world. He's used me and my video skills to expand himself. I'm a very giving person, guys. I'll do that for any one of you that come over to my house. That motherfucker had been in my home. He knew everything that I had gone through with my parents dying, with me having to evict my best friend who was a drug addict. He knew all my personal heartache that I don't share in the Bigfoot world. And it means nothing to him because it's all about him. He comes first. There's no one else but Russel Accord. I get that now. He's the most narcissistic, sociopathic man I have ever met. Most hoaxers are. Steve Coles will tell you this. He's an expert on Bigfoot hoaxers. Nonetheless, when he told me this about his confession video that he filmed of Bob Gimlin, I couldn't keep quiet about it. I was like, shit, I can't. What do I do with this? So I told all my close friends who happen to be some of the top people in Bigfoot, from Derek to Montreux to Kathy Strain, Bob Strain, Diane Stocking, a lot of people that have been around a long time who have known Bob Gimlin for years, okay? I shared this with them. I'm like, oh my God, this is what... I even talked to Steve Coles about it. And Steve told me last year, yeah, well, Richter, Russell told me the same thing. So I'm like, okay, I now have somebody that can corroborate my story. You know what I mean? Russell's fucking stupid. He tells people things he should keep his mouth shut about, right? So, you know what? I owe Russell nothing. And the other day when I was talking with Dr. Maria Mayer, his co-star on the show, and I found out what he has done to her and how he has hurt her and played her and suckered her and used her just to get to her husband, who's a Discovery executive. I was like, oh no, motherfucker, these goddamn earrings are coming off. It's one thing for you to hurt me, but to have a grown woman practically crying because of her shame and anger for allowing a narcissist like Russel Accord into her life, into her home. Fuck, she even took him to a fucking Little League game. Okay, he was very much wrapped up in her social and personal life, just like what he was with me. And then he fucking dumps her like a fucking cold shit in the wind. That's not cool. That's why I came forward on Reddit. I'm like, you know what, guys? The longer I'm quiet about this, I'm complicit. And I am not a liar, and I am not a motherfucking hoaxer. You can say all day, Richter's an asshole, Richter's a bully, he's a fucking evil queen. Okay, that's fair. I'll accept it. But you can't say I'm a liar and you can't say I'm a hoaxer. Russel Accord is both of those.
Richter, can I ask you something?
Yeah.
Didn't you at one point, I think during that show you were on, that $10 million bounty, didn't you and Russ do kind of little commercial type of things? You'd be like, ask Richter or ask, I don't remember now, but I remember you guys would stand there together for about 30 seconds and you'd make something very funny. It was multiple times.
It was after Bigfoot Bounty because my partner was Dax for the show, little Dax Rushlow.
Yeah,
but, it was after Bounty, and we made videos for the paranormal blog called the Crypto Blast. So that's what we did.
Okay.
So yeah, he's a user. He doesn't care who he hurts, guys. It's just, that's not cool. You know what? For instance, let's say let's say Adam Davies is a hoaxer and he's honest about it to me. All right, cool. Hoaxing's not illegal. I just can't handle when friends lie to me. I can't handle liars. Hoaxers are liars at the bottom of the barrel, basic level. They are liars.
Richter.
I consider Russell a liar, a hoaxer.
Richter.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Who is this?
Thomas.
Hey, I've heard a lot about you, man.
Yeah. Listen, could you please explain the circumstances of when and how Russel Accord made this statement to you?
He told me over the phone about 15 months ago. It was before COVID hit. And he said that he has filmed Bob Gimlin for a documentary, that it was scandalous. It would devastate the Bigfoot world. He wanted to get his hands on the costume. And I told him, you're never going to get the costume because I'm sure Roger Patterson burned it way back when, 49 years ago, right? So you're never going to get the costume. He said that he wanted to film Gimlin and Hieronymus together. But at the last second, Gimlin got cold feet and didn't want to be in the same room with Bob Hieronymus. So Russell had to film them separately. He was also in talks with Clint Patterson. I believe that's Roger's son. He got permission to use the Patterson-Gimlin film. And he pretty much planned on shopping this to the networks after Bob and his wife Judy have passed away, because he was afraid of how the Bigfoot world would retaliate to Judy Gimlin.
So what you're saying is Russell didn't secretly record Gimlin making
it was all.
He's saying that Bob Gimlin cooperated.
Yes.
Do you believe it, Richter?
Do you believe him?
110%. 110%. Because he told the same exact thing to Steve Coles.
No, well, I think what they're asking is, do you believe them that Bob
said this? You believe Bob would say that?
Yes, and here's why. At Beachfoot a few years ago, Lauren Coleman and I walked up to Bob Gimlin. And I don't know if you know who Lauren Coleman is. He's an up-and-coming cryptozoologist. It's a joke. And he decided to ask Bob Gimlin directly.
Oh, that is so good.
So when he asked Bob Gimlin if it was a hoax, Bob Gimlin, he's like, hey there, guys, how you doing? He's like this. He's very animated and sweet. And you know how Bob is, right? His whole demeanor changed. And he's like, well, if Roger was hoaxing, I wasn't sure in on it. And his whole voice, body, mannerisms changed. It wasn't the usual, hey there, guys, how you doing there, Pat? Hey, he wasn't. It was a total different personality, and that
especially the way he answered the question, he didn't answer the question.
So
he would have just answered the question. Well, that's fucking bullshit.
So ask Lauren Coleman about that moment. It was just like, it was just weird how it wasn't the same usual. No,
people can be weird.
It was a whole different. So,
wow, this will be interesting. This.
Can we get Bob? Is there some way we can get Bob? Because I've met Bob so many times and stuff. I would like to meet you, Richter, eventually. But I have trouble with this just from the history of knowing the other researchers. I'm older than everybody else here, except for Thomas. I think Thomas is probably 20 years older than me. But anyway, I have a hard time with this, and it's not because I want to believe. I've always had a little bit of a problem with the hair on the breasts and things like that, but I can't imagine these two guys they couldn't have made this costume. It's impossible. When the greatest people in Hollywood say it's impossible for the time, I just have to follow this. I don't. It doesn't mean I don't think you're lying at all. There are a lot of things I've learned in my life where I can't believe you just told me that. Because it's
no. If Bob's gonna do a confession video, I want details. I don't want a 5-second clip of him saying, we were just hoaxing. I want detail.
Right. Like, how the costume was made, Why was it only 59 seconds long? Why did they go to Bluff Creek when they could have done? Hoaxers tend to do the easiest. They don't like to go the extra mile. They don't like hard work. You know, they look at Rick Dyer in the parking lot for Home Depot. So there has to be a reason why they went to Bluff Creek. My gut, my own big gay opinion. Ray Wallace, had foot stompers. Hence, we have Bigfoot, the title Bigfoot, because of Ray Wallace pranking Jerry Crew with the footprints around his tractor. Ray Wallace's deathbed confession, you guys should know all the story now. He pranked all those footprints.
Actually, he did. His family said that after he died.
Years.
They showed the
like 30 years after he died.
So, you know what? I've noticed this with today's hoaxers. They flock together. The birds of a feather flock together. Yep. And I'm sure if Roger had the intent to hoax, he knew Ray Wallace, and maybe Ray didn't feel comfortable going up there with the foot stompers. Maybe they met halfway. Who knows? I don't know. But there has to be a reason why they chose Bluff Creek. Maybe because they were filming that little Bigfoot movie where Bob Gimlin was already going to be playing an Indian. Oh, wait, there's a Bigfoot? That easy? Right? You're going to go make a Bigfoot movie? Oh, wait, there's a Bigfoot right there? Really? How are you that lucky? You see what I'm saying? So there's a lot of missing pieces to the story, and I find it fascinating. And I'm in Bigfoot for the truth. If it's real, great. If it's not, great. I just don't want someone lying to me all the fucking time like people do in Bigfoot. I'm over it. So that's why I call a spade a spade. Go ahead and hate me. Go ahead and shoot the messenger. I don't care. Ad hominem.
Hey, Richter.
I'm all
Richter,
about
can I ask you something?
Yeah.
What are you doing in your car, bro?
I just went to the gym.
Oh, did you?
I'm a cow.
Is there a way we can get Steven?
And one more thing. Hey, Richter, how's your dog doing?
My dog.
You still have him?
I got two of them. Yeah, they're German Shepherds. They're wonderful.
Yeah, the older German Shepherd.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you know mine's named Sibylla because we used to talk a couple years back. So,
right on.
Just to clarify for the audience, not just the panel here, when he told you this, you believe he's telling you the truth.
110%, no question. I know that man inside and out.
Yeah.
You know, I loved him like a brother. I wasn't in love with him like a gay guy. No, I loved him like a brother. And I feel so ashamed for not having vetted him, for not really seeing him for who he was. I let him come into my life with open arms, and I was stupid. You know, some people say it's a flaw, whatever. Maybe it's an endearing quality. I don't know, but I got burned by him.
I got again, Rick, but you got to admit to our viewing public out there, not talking about the panel, you're coming across as someone who's got something against Russel Accord now.
Pretty much I do. Yeah. You can burn me. That's fine.
I'm not going to burn you. I'm just telling you what other people are going to say.
That's fine.
They're going to say, "Hey, look how mad at Russel Accord he is. He's making this up."
But can we get Steven Stratford on here?
Yes, let's try to get him. Steve, come on.
I tried. He has a link.
Oh, come on.
Steven has a link.
Come on, Steven.
And just to rectify Richter, I don't think that. I'm glad you came forward and told us.
I don't want to be complicit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
The way you're coming across now, it sounds like you've got a grudge against Russel Accord.
Ron Bowles told me last night, I'm surprised you sat on this for as long as you have. Well, I can keep my mouth shut. You know, I'm not a gossip queen.
You don't say.
A queen, but I'm not a gossip queen, girl.
So let me ask you, Richter.
Never would have guessed that.
Let me ask you a question, Richter. Why did you sit on it?
I didn't want to hurt Bob. I love Bob. I adore Bob. Even though he's part of the whole sham, you know, he's a good man. But what's the right thing to do? To sit on it and keep quiet? You know, while Russel Accord continues to hurt people left and right and take advantage of them. My God, his own co-star, Mariah. He fucking used and took advantage of her. My God. There's nothing stopping this piece of shit from hurting people. His own co-stars. So just no. When you have
Did you see the film though? Did you see Bob say, "Oh yeah, we hoaxed it"? I mean, because if Russell just said it, then this is all hearsay. Yeah.
This is then if it's hearsay from Richter and Steve Coles, because Coles backed me up. Because Russell told him to.
Yeah. Nope. I don't think anybody's accusing you of lying.
No,
Russell told you that.
Yeah, but Coles also heard it from Richter, so it's hearsay from Richter. I'm sorry, Accord.
Accord, yeah. Russell.
Great.
That's
and then
why
yesterday, Russell Accord was lying and trying to change his story and saying, "Oh no, the confession video is about Tom Yamarone." And Steve Coles is like, "Bullshit! That's not what you said last year."
Yeah, I mean, he's backpedaling.
Liars can't keep track of their lies, guys. They can't. Hoaxers can't keep track of their shit. Just like Justin Smea saying he shot the baby Bigfoot in the neck, and then on Bigfoot Bounty he choked it to death. What's the truth, motherfucker? What's the truth?
I've never seen that clip where Justin said that.
Oh, I'll be happy
Can you
to
send me that clip, Richter?
Sure.
Yeah,
Well,
I've never seen that clip.
Sorry.
Well, the engine thing, as far as I'm concerned, the DNA blew that out of the waters.
The other thing is Richter has mentioned quite a few other people that he had shared this with. So it'd be interesting to hear their positioning on it as well. So.
Yeah, their names are out there. No,
that's right. We're trying to find facts. We're not trying to find who's right or wrong. We're trying to find the facts. So let's be objective and not subjective. And I'm glad this is hitting the fan with full blast totally. So, because I feel for Richter because it's the same garbage. I mean, I'm a little more emotionally involved, charged right now about the whole thing because of a few other things like the Matt Moneymaker's garbage and a couple of other things that happened the last couple of months.
All right. You want to talk about Matt Moneymaker? You know,
What's
Matt
that?
Moneymaker had a pitch tribal Bigfoot he was trying to do. He had it submitted to not Animal Planet, Discovery. And when Russell's show Expedition Bigfoot came out, Matt Moneymaker was accusing the show and the stars of hoaxing. Remember that? Russell showed the executives at Discovery Matt Moneymaker's tweets, and they decided to dump Matt Moneymaker's. Bullshit! That's not what you said last year.
Yeah, I mean,
feedback.
Turn your. There you go, Steve.
Yeah, you get Steve. You got some feedback going from your.
Steve, curious cryptid, did you get your answer for what you were wanting to ask Richter?
No. Actually, one thing I was going to point out, if we presume that Patterson was doing a 1960s Bigfoot documentary, that documentary would include dramatization footage to support the narrative. You would expect someone's got a suit somewhere.
Very good point.
I mean, you would just expect there was a suit somewhere, not necessarily the one that's in the last few feet of the film.
Right. What's the background racket? Is that?
Yeah, what is that?
My wife is playing with the German Shepherd. Sorry.
It's what? Is that
I've never seen that clip.
I think we're hearing through
It's
the
that clip, Richter.
microphone.
Sure.
Pat, mute
Yeah,
mute Steve until he's actually here.
Yeah, mute Steven.
I did it, but then he unmuted himself. So I'm not clear if he's here or not.
Yeah, someone's watching the show live in the background. That's what it sounds like.
That's what it sounded like.
So Stephen, if you mute the tab from YouTube or Facebook.
Yeah.
Something.
And I want to also say, Richter, congratulations on going after my fellow BC guy in those 4 videos.
Oh God!
You're the man, Richter. You're the man.
Those are the
Thank you for
facts.
Very good job. Very
Oh
good
my
job.
God! You can't tell your followers to go beat someone up. You can't. Stupid.
Of course not. Yeah.
Oh my God!
Let's see.
I don't know. I suspect
Todd
there's something
Standing
wrong
is my
here with
hero.
him. There's something not right for him. Like, these reality stars. He keeps repeating himself over and over and over in all of his videos. It's like looking down the rabbit hole. And yet he would kill to be on a Bigfoot reality show.
No, totally. Yeah. Well, 2 of us are from BC here, so we're pretty familiar with them, and the rest of the 3 of them are just south of the border from us, so they're pretty familiar with them as well. So that's what we're talking
All
about.
I gotta say is, look at this. Look real quick. Look at this. That's my little blinky wink right there.
Oh.
No, he doesn't need to be in a Bigfoot reality show. Like,
He is a Bigfoot reality show.
exactly.
Honestly, I'd watch it. That'd be very entertaining to have him on there with Rick Dyer and some of these other characters in the Bigfoot community. I would pay to watch something like that.
And
be
C. Wayne
entertained.
Wilson, that'd be great. Be like the new Tiger King.
Yeah.
We just recently watched a movie. I think it was on Prime, and it was a comedy about Bigfoot, and it had like people were playing themselves, and they had Dyer, and when he came into the frame, it says Rick Dyer, the hoaxer, and he played himself, and it literally was a hilarious movie.
That's the brilliance. That's the brilliance of hoaxers. I'll use myself as the hoaxer.
Yeah, I'll just go ahead and it was a hilarious movie though. It's like
Get back to the main point.
Thanks, Thomas.
Richter claimed, and it's now backed up by Steve Calls, that Russel Accord has video footage of Bob Gimlin confessing that the Patterson Gimlin film is not what everyone thinks it is. So the onus now is on Russel Accord releasing said footage.
Yeah.
Unedited.
Yeah, sooner than later too, because I got stuff to do later in the week.
Well, I'm also aware that the producers of Expedition Bigfoot have been monitoring Russel Accord's social media. And if you're on any kind of television show, you can't be making any kind of anti-gay pride posts or posting anti-BLM posts. You can't have an opinion like that on social media if you're on television. And that stupid son of a bitch has been opening his mouth left and right, claiming it was Antifa that raided our Capitol on January 6th. You're on a TV show. Shut the fuck up, you stupid idiot. And his producers know about it. So for season 3 of Expedition Bigfoot, they have yet to collect everybody's signatures. And it's my bet he won't be coming back for season 3. They don't want someone to portray the Discovery Network and all their affiliates in a poor light like that. You can't have a stupid loose cannon posting shit like that on social media. Russel Accord is a stupid piece of shit. You can't post stuff like that. I'm sorry. Even if this is his First Amendment right, you have no First Amendment rights when it comes to Facebook and social media. They're private companies. Ask Donald Trump. He found out the hard way, right? So, Russell, give him enough.
All right, let's keep going.
These are the facts.
Because right now
those are the facts. Give him enough
coming
rope,
off like
he
CNN.
won't hang himself. And Russell's hung himself. He's not coming back for season 3. So if that happens, he will release the confession video just to keep his name out there, just to try and keep making money. That's what he'll do. You watch. You mark my words.
Tomorrow, Pat, can you do a show called Politics with Richter?
Yeah, I could actually. I'd love to do that show with Richter. But
you and I clashed heads there, Richter, during that election, and I'm gonna keep that. I learned, the older I get, I'm 59. I'm never gonna stop learning, but I think friendship is much more important than politics and opinions. So.
Well, we don't do politics on Squatch Talk. That's bottom line. But I will agree with Richter 100% on this point. In today's day and age, if you're on a Discovery TV show, you don't even have social media. Like, you don't do anything personal, and you damn sure don't run around with an AR-15 in your hand. So yeah,
in your town, that's true.
Yeah.
So I want to continue. I want to continue with the point we're talking about here. So Richter, you were talking about Russell's social media. What social media are you aware that he has that we can keep tabs on?
Just his Facebook. Just his Sage Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is Steven available for us yet?
I think he's trolling us a little bit.
Oh.
He
can troll away.
Or his audio is not working. I don't know.
I'm just too amused to say anything.
You're too amused to say anything? Is that what you're saying?
No, he's okay. He is there.
Yeah, he's there. Sounds like you're, I don't know, flailing around with your mic or something.
It's that Bluff Creek Wi-Fi. It's not that good.
Yeah, it is
Can
kind
you hear
of
me?
patchy. Yeah, we can. Go ahead.
Yeah.
It's like America Online, Stephen.
Come on, Angel Eyes, get on there.
It is what it is.
Give us your thoughts.
Honestly, you can't hear me speaking, can you?
Yes, we can.
Yes,
we
Yeah, we
can.
can.
Yeah, he's not like Cylon, but we can hear you.
There's a delay. I think there's a
you
slight
can hear
delay
me.
because it's going from the Pacific Northwest to Georgia and then back to the Pacific Northwest for you guys. Yeah.
Well, I'm on the west coast of BC, and I'm not having any problems.
Same I. Same I.
At the speed
True.
of light.
Cougar, Washington. I've been out like 10 times already during this show.
But he has I think Steven has like he has like a bad internet connection or something.
It's AOL.
Well,
Well, we can hear him, so let him share something. He wants to share it.
yeah.
We have it funny for you.
Go ahead. The floor is yours, Steven.
Steven.
Honestly, this connection is so listening.
Okay, all I'm hearing is the silence from the.
And the happy face moving up and down periodically.
If you can get some
Yeah.
on that.
Yeah, it's pretty bad connection.
I could see why he wouldn't want to come on.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here and it's really hard to talk with you guys.
How about you just,
Yes.
there you go.
There you go.
You can also try just doing audio too, and use less data going through.
Tell me you can hear me saying things, and I'll.
Yeah, he's got a lousy connection.
Honestly don't know what to say. This is all very funny to me.
Of
Share
course
that
it is.
part.
Shocker.
Why don't we just it's time, huh? I tried to warn you. It's a terrible connection lately.
No, I know, dude. Like, but if you do turn your video off, then the connection should improve.
Okay.
He's uglier than I thought.
No,
maybe
he's
so.
handsome.
Let's see here.
Now, no one insult Angel Eyes.
Who said that?
Thomas.
Steven, I've missed you.
I don't know how to turn the camera off on this thing.
There's a little
Yeah, Rick,
icon.
here, I'm sure you have.
Yeah, the video button.
Hey, we got to
Stop
give
him.
we got to give Richter and Steven a moment
Now, I was
to.
going to ask a question here. What Bob Gimlin?
All right, that's enough. That's enough. That's enough.
There's 2 minutes to get in here, Ty.
There's a button below you that says stop cam. Just click that button. That's all you have to do. It says stop
What
cam.
does Bob
Make it
Gimlin say? Can you hear me ask you that question?
No.
Now we didn't hear the question.
All right, I'm out of here. This is not real.
just
What did Bob
Right.
Gimlin actually say?
Word for word.
Yeah.
Richter, what did Bob Gimlin actually say?
Word.
Word for word?
All I can tell you is what Russell said to me exactly. That he filmed the confession video, that it was scandalous, it would devastate the Bigfoot world. He wanted to film Gimlin with Hieronymus, and at the last second, Gimlin got cold feet, and Russell had to film them separately. Russell told me he wanted to get his hands on the suit, and that he was in talks with Clint Patterson. And
Yes, Bob
he
said
got permission from
today-
Clint Patterson.
That didn't any.
I think he's mentioned the fact that I talked to Bob Gimlin this morning, and the Bob told me uncategorically no such confession footage exists. It did not happen.
That's what Bob said this morning.
That's what Bob said.
Well, then the easiest explanation is that Russel Accord is a liar, because
That's
regardless
exactly
if he
it.
did or not, he's a
Agreed.
liar. Period.
He
Plain
just
and
won
simple.
$100.
He has no honor.
Well, there's 2 more witnesses that we could ask.
No.
There's two more witnesses. Because if he filmed the one and he filmed another guy and he also talked to the son, those are two more witnesses.
Yep.
Son is still alive. The other witness still alive. I'm not familiar with the other guys. So.
He got permission to use the Patterson Gimlin film through Clint Patterson.
Okay.
That's all I know.
Okay.
That's what the fucker told me.
Oh, Richter, you're so bitter.
Hey, Richter, do you see how I patterned my look after you?
I like it.
And Jay, you are like Richter. After watching him explode there when we first got on, I thought, oh, that's like Jay. Yeah, there's a comparison there a little bit.
A couple of loose cannons right here, buddy boy.
That's right. Three loose cannons.
Okay, well, I want to keep chatting for sure. So what do you think is going to happen? What's the next step?
It's all in Russel Accord's ballpark.
Right.
I agree. It's in
And
his
if
court.
he doesn't get on season 3, then he will try and get this confession video put out. That's what
He's got to keep the attention. He's got to get attention, and this what this whole thing is surround.
Yep.
For me personally, I feel like this is what's going on. This might get him season 3 or another show of some kind.
I don't know about a show, but he might have a network pick up the confession documentary easily. Could be History Channel, could be any low-rated D-list channel.
Amazon, Netflix. Yeah. That's what I was thinking.
Or do the pay-per-view YouTube thing like Rosahibi did with Justin Smea.
Wow.
Right. Yeah. After it was already on YouTube like forever and a day. Like, I mean, like everybody and their uncle had like downloaded it or screen
I know.
recorded it.
For forever, you could watch it on YouTube. And all of a sudden, it's on Netflix. Sorry, I already got it for free, man. Yeah, that's crazy.
You can find it on YouTube right now. I watched it like 6 weeks ago. Oh.
So, has anyone phoned Russell? Did Steve phone Russell? Thomas, do you know Russell? Have you phoned him?
I know him, but I have not called him on this subject yet. The only person I contacted today was Bob himself.
Yeah.
I'd call him if somebody wants to give me his cell number.
Oh, excuse me. I did talk to Steve Calls.
Right.
Steve Calls confirmed that Richter is telling the truth about this phone call conversation with Russel Accord. So, Richter, I have no doubts about your sincerity on this matter whatsoever. But I got to tell you, my friend, a lot of people watching this, seeing the obviously disdain you have for the man, may think you have something, a grudge to grind.
No question.
Yep.
I don't lie. I don't hold things back. I'm probably the most honest person you've ever watched on YouTube.
Straightforward, he is. He could really get on your nerves.
I got you the gig, Russel Accord on Expedition Bigfoot. I can taketh away. And all I did was just give him enough rope, and he's hung himself. So,
fair enough.
Remember this,
like
boys.
I said, it's all in Russell's court now.
I want you guys to understand this.
If such a confession exists, he's got to bring it up.
There's a saying, hell hath no fury like a woman scorned, right? Well, hell hath no fury than a homosexual slightly inconvenienced. And I am very inconvenienced.
Now, that's a very gay thing to say.
You can't play me for a fool for very long. There comes
Washing your mouth
where I
out
get
there,
smart and I
Richter.
wisen up. And I'm like, nope, I am no one's fool.
Well, I've been watching a shift that's happened with you lately, Richter, which has been like, it's almost at the point, I don't know when you took a break over the last year before you started the season, but it seems to me that you got to a point where you just said, I just can't pretend anymore. And that's where your energy discharge is so intense that people could read it wrong. I don't read it wrong. I totally get where you're coming from, which is you just can't handle the bullshit.
That's my question. Is everyone, not you guys, I'm just saying, anyone who says Bigfoot's real, subscribe to my channel, you know, everybody. And guys, let's not forget, Russell brought his own thermal camera to Expedition Bigfoot. He wasn't provided that camera. So when he had that red blip, that little thermal, there was no timestamp, no date on that footage on the show. I allege he filmed that first, then went to the show and had an insurance plan. Oh, what's that? What's that? What do I see? Boom. There it is in the first episode. It's so easy. And yet all you guys, not you guys, but all the Bigfoot world are like, oh, they're on a dude ranch. Oh, they're not really remote. The blatant truth has been in front of your eyes the entire time. He had thermal imagery that had no date and timestamp on it. That fucker probably filmed it before he went to the show. In fact, I think he probably did. I allege, blah, blah, blah. But I know that man. He thinks he's smart. Nothing's worse than a stupid idiot that thinks they're smart.
Yeah, no, I hear you, dude.
Well, it's like on
And
the
welcome
show
to
there.
Off the Richter. We're just getting started. This is my panel of judges.
Mhm.
It's like when he come across that structure there, and he was really amazed, and I thought it's all fresh spruce bough. I think it was spruce bough, and I was just thought.
Okay.
I can't even say
On audio only. Can we see Steven or can we hear Steven Struffert now?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Can you hear me?
Yes.
We can hear you. There's a delay. There's a huge delay, guys.
I'm not getting good feedback on whether you're hearing what I'm actually saying or not.
Yep. It's
I
like
think it's probably best to just ride
You're
this
so
one
much
out,
better
you
though.
guys.
It's so much better.
the delay.
Steven just said we need to ride this out. That's right, and
Okay.
he's correct. And as I say it again, the ball's in Russel Accord's court now.
Hey, I just realized that's Brent. Hi, Brent. Look at you in the corner there. I see you.
Hey,
I can
Yeah,
zoom in on
right.
everybody. Oh, there's Leon. I can see everybody's faces. Oh, look at that. Oh, there's Pat. There's Thomas. That's so cool. Nice. You're on my phone, so everybody's real small. Hey, Steve. There you are.
Hello.
The Curious Cryptid. Nice. Brent and I have been talking about Russel Accord for quite some time. A lot of people I've been talking to about this. And it was just a matter of time before I finally came out of the closet with it.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know.
well, it's not surprising though. But it kind of makes you wonder what his motive is. I mean,
Money!
why say something like that if it's not true? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, because
Well, according to what my impression was, he wasn't counting on Richter spilling the bean.
Definitely not.
And Coles.
There's no way. Well, he forgot. I mean, I'm sure you probably heard last night, Richter, but
Oh, I did, yeah.
he actually forgot he told Steve Coles that.
Mhm.
So
Yep.
yeah,
Liars can't keep track of their lies.
yeah.
Nope. All these hoaxers, they can't keep track of their shit. That's why
Well,
they changed their story.
He probably told other people too and just forgot. So it's
Of
probably an
course.
open secret in the community.
Yep.
Well, we'll find out.
But of course, Richter went into a Reddit thread and went,
Well, we were talking about Stacey Brown's hoax thermal footage.
yeah, I remember.
And you know
Yeah.
what? Fuck
Yeah.
it. I'll just use this as an opportunity. That's not the big story here.
Right. But hey, by the way, did Stacey Brown say that was hoaxed?
Yeah, he told me that at the international conference 3 years ago.
Okay.
Yep. Mhm.
I believe you.
Oh, you should. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask you that real quick.
Please clarify the Stacey Brown footage for the audience.
Oh,
It's
they
that
know.
thermal footage of a person wearing Ray-Bans holding what looks like a
What I mean
six-pack.
is location, date, time.
Oh God, Florida, many years ago, he was on the 10-foot, the $10,000 or $10 million, whatever the hell it was.
Bounty.
And he got paid for that footage too.
What did he use that footage on that show?
They used it on in the show. Yes, they did.
Yeah, they showed
I
it.
think I saw it on Finding Bigfoot once.
Oh yeah, and Cliff has gone there and measured it. And I've told Cliff, you've got this in your museum. It's a fucking hoax. Stacy told me. Well, I went there and I measured it. Okay, well, you know what? I can't change Cliff's mind. He went there and measured it, so therefore it was real.
Mhm.
Hey, that's all on him. I take things on face value.
Oh wow, boy.
Well, he's invested in it by the trip.
Yep. Yep.
Fair enough. So what's going to happen now? How do you guys think this will play out? Because I think this is going to play out quick. There's a lot of pressure on Russell's shoulders now, and how he deals with that, which I'm guessing he won't deal with it well. How's this going to play out over the next week or so?
Well,
I think he's more worried about getting on season 3 or not because of his own social media postings. I think that's his first worry.
Right, but he's not helping himself here because but now Bob is aware of this claim. So let's say, Richter, if like Bob's telling the truth, I mean, obviously Bob's not going to want to have anything to do with him anymore. So the Bigfoot world is going to come down hard on Russell's shoulders, because the Bigfoot world always rallies around Bob. This has happened before. We've all seen this before.
Well,
so,
wait. There's an observation we can be waiting for too, and that is, will Bob depart from Russell?
I hope he does. I hope he does
too. But if he doesn't, then there's some information we're missing.
I can tell you this morning, I suggested he have a long talk with Russell, and he agreed, and he was going to do so today. So I don't know if it happened.
So 2 things could have happened from that, Tom. He could have been like, "What the hell you been telling people?" Or he could be like, "What the hell you been telling people?" So it's either way. So I'm sure Russell's got his tail in his legs, between his legs.
Yeah, I mean, if it's not true and Russell's just fabricated the whole thing, man, he'll feel stupid. Sometimes public shaming is good.
I agree.
They used to do it in the old days.
I mean, well, Richter doesn't know anything about public shaming, do you, Richter? I mean, you don't know like really anything about that. So, Leon, you're kind of talking above Richter's head here a little bit. I'm going to have to bring the conversation.
What is this word, shame?
Well, healthy shame is good. Toxic shame.
All I know is, dude, Richter, like, I want to say this real quick while I have you here. And it's live. It's going to be locked in history forever. Like, when I discovered your videos, which was only about a year or so ago, I was like, oh, do me next.
And now?
And now you have a good clip, right?
Yeah, there you go.
Right? Like, do me next.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, Leon's a little slow. I have to slow it down for him. Yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoyed your recent videos about Esdal.
Yeah, he had it coming. By saying that Bobby Short was murdered. What?
Yeah, murder.
What?
And rape.
I'm probably on the suspect list.
That dude just says whatever, like whatever gets a rise out of he cares nothing about the consequences from it, and anything to get attention and sensationalize the subject those viewers are entertained.
Yeah, he's like a vulgar Howard Stone. Is that his name? The shock jock. What's his name?
Howard Stern.
Stern. Thank you.
Yeah.
Howard Stern. Yeah, he's kind of like that, but uneducated and stupid and.
Oh yeah, I agree. Like he's nowhere near Howard Stern's level. Like as far as like brilliant. Howard Stern's brilliant, but like so you said earlier, like he probably won his own Bigfoot show. Steve Vistal.
He would kill for it. Yes.
He talks about.
I don't know.
He wants to do
he's not going to make I don't think he would make as much money off a Bigfoot show as he makes off his YouTube channel.
Correct. Man. If you want to make money in Bigfoot, you have to do it on YouTube and be a hoaxer. That's how you do it.
Yeah.
Because you don't make money in Bigfoot by going to conferences. You can barely make ends meet.
Which is why I've been broke like you wouldn't believe for the last 22 years. Because there's one golden rule. If you're going to become a researcher in this subject, there's one golden rule. Thou shalt not hoax. If you
back to facts.
And you ever do and you get caught, we have long memories. So
Yep. Well, I hope this shakes people up enough to just do diligence. And again, there's nothing we can do about it. I mean, the funny thing is, every time we do a show like this, a lot of times people think we're critical and we're part of the problem, and that it's the patheticness of having to deal with it all the time. I just did up that video of Sasquatch videos we once thought were real, and it turns out that they're not. And some of the comments I got, the attacking I got on that, it's like, I even gave the name, the suit, where it was. I mean, how much more information you want? Well, we want you to take us by the hand. I don't think you do.
Look, I went through with the Chehalis sounds.
Right. Yeah, exactly. It's like that in the back of my mind. Totally. It's like, do you want to know what that sound is? I've seen it. And I remember when we first met, I said, yeah, I've seen them do it too. Mm-hmm. But no. Okay. That's that belief part of it. Go ahead, Steve.
That's what Brent and I were hearing on December 28th, the same sort of coyote call.
So, I mean, it's not like anything new now. I mean, that's 5 of us now. So how many more people do we need? 150 of us? I don't think so.
Yeah, but still, you can give people the evidence that is good for the normal society, but people are still going to want to believe. Even if Bob actually confessed to hoaxing, people are still going to believe that Patty was real and that there's a conspiracy behind why Bob confessed. And so,
you're right.
You know, it's just another go around of the whole thing, which I find entertaining. So I'm not complaining.
Because Bigfoot's belief based.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
All too much. Yes.
Again, I'll repeat for the 5th time. Russell needs to bring that footage forward if true.
Yep.
And
if you pay him, he will, since he's only in it for money.
Hey, Richter, if you got Russ's phone number, you should dial him up while you're on here and what he says. You know,
Nikki. Yeah,
Nikki.
Hello.
Hey. Hey.
I had to come on. This is so crazy. The whole
Nikki told me to come on, so I'm here because of Nikki.
Yay!
Yes.
When I found out what was happening, I was like, "Oh, well, I know Richter. I'm gonna text him right now." and you know better than to get information straight from the person, because Richter and I have talked for years. So. But he was busy. He was going to the gym, so I couldn't get him on immediately.
No, thank you for that. Help add context to the story and build everything out.
It does. I mean, there's going to be sides to the story. Everybody's going to have their own take, and that'll all come out in the next few days, I'm sure. But for me, it doesn't have much bearing because I still believe in all the accounts from all my friends and, everybody else's stuff. And I was only about an 80-20 believer in the Patterson Gimlin film to begin with. So didn't really have a bearing on me. But.
Well, it would have a bearing on me. Like I said, I've always said I'm 90% convinced the Sasquatch is a primate and living in the woods of North America. And I always left 2% off in case I'm wrong. If the proof comes out that Patterson Gimlin film is a fake and Bob Gimlin has been lying to my face for 25 years, that would probably reduce my commitment to the existence of the Sasquatch to 75%. Because even though I still believe in it, because I can't explain away all the tracks I've seen, all the people I've interviewed over the years, and the possible figure I saw myself in 2004. And there were reports on Sasquatch before the Patterson Gimlin film, and as we all know, there's been a lot of reports on the Sasquatch long after the Patterson Gimlin film. So it will flip the community on its head for a while, but as according to me, whether disprove or prove the existence of the Sasquatch, no, that will only happen when science gets what science has always demanded, and that's just the way it works.
Well, I'll say this, if I could, please. I'll say this: it will flip it on its head. It'll rock it to its core, because that is. Inarguably the best footage we have of a Sasquatch. And so especially me personally, having to go on a debate channel, you know, that has nothing to do with the Bigfoot world, just an actual debate channel, and defend that film, man, that would make me feel like an idiot right away, you know. And I even, you know, got a actual primatologist, a young primatologist, to admit it's a very strange film. I felt like that was a victory, you know. So
You can't prove it.
all that trouble and all that discussion and all that debate and standing by the film the way that I do, I mean, it would flip me upside down, you know.
Can I say something right now to Steven Strufert?
Sure.
I want to owe Steven Strufert an apology. He and his friends and everybody in his Facebook group coalition were right about Russel Accord. And I even recently told Jonathan Wilk from Massachusetts that they were right about Russel Accord, and they deserve to hear that. They need to know that. So
Really?
There you go.
Why? Do you say that, Richter? I'm curious. Do you say that because you've defended Russell in that group before?
yeah, because I thought Russell was a friend, and I thought they were just being mean, when in fact they were being spot on. I now, you know, the wool isn't over my eyes anymore. I can see him for what he is. And they were 100% right.
All right. Yep. I just wanted to get the context right there. And I know Steven is loving that right now.
Oh, yeah, he deserves to hear that. And, you know, I've talked about this with Kip. Kip Morrill is... I confide a lot in Kip Morrill. Kip is a great man. He's a very good man. And I think telling Steven this, you know, is a good thing to do.
Yeah, no, dude, that's great. You know, we're all on the same team, especially you two. I mean, you guys, you know, both have the same perspective and kind of maybe go about it in similar but different ways. So, you know, it's a good thing that you guys are talking again, and you guys offer so much as far as perspective and insight to what's kind of really going on in the Bigfoot community.
So how was that, Stephen, for an olive branch? Sealed with a kiss.
I don't know if you guys can hear me speak. I'm not saying anything.
We can.
You're lit.
Yeah, I don't like hear about his truth threats.
Moving around. Quit moving around, Stephen.
Yeah, it's the moving
Stay
around.
Stationary as you talk. That will also help.
I just talked to Steven. I just talked to Jeff Gunther, and
you guys can hear me properly.
He sent me the messages
bother to try
that him and Doug Highcheck did offer Bob $1 million from his company. So.
Oh wow, I didn't know that one.
Wait.
Yeah, I just got off with him, and he shows me him and Doug were just talking like 10 minutes ago.
Wait.
Cool.
Who did? I missed that. I'm sorry. What?
Jeff Gunther, my friend, that was on that said that Doug Highcheck was the one that offered Bob $1 million, and then we all said no, it wasn't. Well, he just sent me. Him and Doug were just talking just a couple of minutes ago, and Doug said, "Yeah, my production company offered Bob $1 million." So
that is official from Doug Highcheck's mouth.
Yeah.
All right. I that's good enough for me. I mean, I'll ask Doug about it personally, but yeah, that's good enough for me. Dude, I think I would lie about it for $1 million. You know,
I would. I'd get in the ring
again,
with Muhammad Ali for $1 million.
Yeah, me too. Well, he's dead.
Yeah, so would I, but I probably wouldn't be in the ring for very long. I'd be carried out about 10 seconds. But again, all I could say is what I've learned today is that Russel Accord, Bob Gimlin says no such confession exists. So Russell, you got to bring it out.
Yep.
I've said that 8 times. I'm going to say it again and 8 more before this show is done. Yeah.
Wow, no, that's huge. Thanks, Jay. Dude, thank you for sleuthing that for us.
Well, I had to get off here for a little bit because Jeff is a good friend of mine. Like I said, we're good. We're friends. We met through a cooking channel and a whiskey channel, and then we've become very good friends. I have some square tumblers that I like to drink whiskey out of, so I bought a set of them and I sent them to him in New York for Christmas last year. So we've been good friends for a long time, from this end of the United States to the other. You know, I mean, he's a good guy. He sent me some personal stuff about his experiences with snowmobiling and some definitely Sasquatch related stuff. And so I just was waiting for the right time to get him included and stuff. I don't want to be like a co-host anymore or anything like that. I don't mind doing this kind of stuff, but he's one of those guys I like to have included in some stuff. You know, he's got the sense and everything. But yeah, I'm out for truth. That's it. That's all I want.
Well, again, man, so now you have what you just said is a connection between Hijack and Gimlin for an actual an actual producer offering actual money on the table, let's say money on the table, to Bob Gimlin to say, if it was a hoax, I'll pay you $1 million to tell me, how it was a hoax. That's always been the missing element. Whenever I've heard anybody mention the $1 million attached to Bob for that knowledge, I've never heard it backed up with who did it, so it just sounded like a claim. And not saying it wasn't real. Obviously, I think it probably is real, and I will reach out to Doug immediately and dive further into that. That's important.
Jeff's going to send you the conversation that I just witnessed between him and Doug.
Okay.
I said, send this to Pat. And he said, all he's going to do is he's going to wait. Doug's off right now. So he's just going to get the permission from Doug and he's going to send it to you.
Okay. Cool. All right. Well, that's
supposed to be driving.
Yeah, Richter.
Driving,
Richter, what are you doing?
You're being a bad. Oh! I have to get going. Thanks a lot for letting me join you guys. Thomas, it's good to see you again. Steve,
you too, Leon.
Good to see you as well. Richter's great to finally see you. Brent, as always. Nikki, Jay.
Right. It was nice to talk to you, Tom.
Jay, Steve, and I want to talk with you at one point. Is that okay?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I'm feeling better right now. I'm healthier than I've been. So I've gained some weight. I'm stronger. I'm healthier. I still can't sleep, but I'm doing pretty good. So I'm happy about that.
It's probably
I also have to go. I want to drink some beers and spend some time with you hear all the background noise and everything. So I'm glad to be back, guys. I'm glad for the support you guys have given me privately, and I'm back. I'm struggling, still with the PTSD occasionally. I thought I was well, but I'm not. So
thanks a bit.
But I am doing better. So
hey, I'll be there. I'm there next month at Bumping Lake, man. Guarantee it.
Okay, we're gonna go. I'm gonna meet up with Shelly in August.
Okay.
And I want you to go, dude. I was looking for you when we went there a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Wow, it's unbelievable up there. And that.
I can't wait. I can't wait. I've never been.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. So, God bless you guys. Hey, Richter, it's good to see you, brother. I hope everything's well with you and all you guys. You know how much I love you, Leon. Like I said, everybody else has got the Hulk. I've got Leon. Pat, I'll support you to the end, my brother.
Thanks,
you're a man of truth. I have no words for Thomas, because to me he's just a great human being and a curious cryptid dude. You've always been there for me. You're a good man, and I appreciate you. And Pat and Brent, you know how I feel about you. I've always supported you also. I think you're the real deal also. So, and I'm sorry I don't know who this other lady is. I'm so sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
She's awesome. She's awesome. You'll love her.
I used to be there on Coalition all the time, but I was kind of the quiet one. So
I have to say, Richter, my favorite episode of your show was when you had Kathy Strain on there years and years and years ago. It was right after my wife and I had our encounter, and we didn't know anybody. We didn't know nothing, and we just found you, and you had Kathy Strain on there, and this woman wishes me a happy birthday every single year. I've never met her, but she wishes me every year a happy birthday. So I just I'm grateful. Somehow the connection was made there, so that's awesome. But God bless everybody. Honestly, I'm gonna go ahead and get the dog in the house before she licks me to death. And
yeah, bud.
German Shepherds, brothers. So
good to see you again, Jay.
Yeah, thank you guys. Have a good night. And happy 4th of July for us Americans. Happy 4th of July for you Canadians. Hey.
Now,
Hey,
I'm out of here too. Take care, guys. And
all right, good night, guys.
You guys.
I just wanted to say, Nikki, you and I have never met. I've seen you on podcasts before, but we've never been on together. It's nice to meet you.
nice to meet you too. Very, very much so. I enjoy listening to everything you've put out, and I'm hoping to get some of your books here real soon so I can learn more.
Roger that, my dear. Just always remember, stick to the facts and never deviate from the facts.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Well,
be careful, man. Pay attention to the road.
I am. My eyes are straight. I haven't taken my eyes off the road. I'm good.
I don't want to see a new world's greatest crashes, okay?
Yeah, live on
I
air.
know, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God! I think I got Russel Accord driving behind me.
Oh man.
This could lead to a Darwin Awards segment.
Yeah.
Hey Richter, I might be going back over there in November.
What's that? You broke up.
Oh, I'm gonna try to get over there to Vegas again in November.
Well, good, because I don't live in Vegas anymore, honey. I'm here in Oregon.
Yeah, he's.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Richter's not in Vegas.
Yeah, I live in Portland.
Oh.
Yeah, I fled. I got the hell out of Vegas.
Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
now I'm terrorizing the
you.
Bigfooters up here in the Pacific Northwest. Mm-hmm.
Wow, awesome. Now you're officially a
That
beach
guy's
footer.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna move to Bluff Creek, but it's kind of really isolated there.
He's driving to Brent. He's driving to Brent's house right now. As we speak.
Oh, I wish I could. I wish I could. I'd be on that in a hot New York minute. Mm.
No, we
I'm
are
gonna
go
lie.
big
I like them tall. Mm.
Wow. Well, this was recent, wasn't it? Because weren't you there in Vegas in July?
Oh man.
I moved here in officially November.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, and I'm going to school. I'm in video production.
Well, Richter, you left Vegas, and I'd like to apologize for the Knights being killed by the Montreal Canadiens in the last round of the playoffs, but I can't because I loved it.
I don't give two shits about the sports. Those hockey pucks.
You're definitely not Canadian.
No, my mom was.
So Richter, you're actually going to school for video production?
Yes, I need that piece of paper saying I'm qualified. And so I happen to be, not to toot my own horn, but I'm one of the best students in the program. And
you're very good at video.
There's a lot of things I don't know. Thank you, I appreciate it. It's just I just need that piece of paper saying I'm qualified and to make the right networking, getting to know people. So yeah, you got to have that piece of paper saying what you're doing.
Yeah, almost like a license or something. Yeah. Yeah, well, you're already good at it, so
Pretty much.
I'm sure you're breezing through. You're probably breezing through whatever course you're taking. So yeah.
Yeah, I've taken drone videography. I love my drone work. Let's see what else. Documentary filmmaking I've taken and completed, and now I'm working on narrative. So I'm part of a group, and we're making an actual film in class. So one person's the AP, one person's the director, one person's the producer, one person's the grip, stuff like that. So that's kind of fun. I'm excited to be doing that. And because we're all vaccinated, we can all actually get together and do this as a group.
Yeah,
which is nice.
yeah. That's cool, dude.
So,
I'm a
Seth Breedlove, look out! I'm coming after you, Seth Breedlove. I'm gonna turn your little small town monsters into small town monsters.
Yeah, I'm actually a drone videographer. So yeah, that's cool, man. Good deal.
Yeah.
And that's a good.
One of these days, I'm gonna go bigfooting with Brent. He's gonna take me up to his secret spot.
Yeah, maybe tomorrow, huh? I can arrange that right now.
I could. I'm not doing anything. Brent, what you doing tomorrow?
Hey, you should come up to Bumping Lake with us sometime next month.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
Official invite.
Then I can show you how to go bigfooting.
He should come out to the Bigfoot tree.
Oh yeah,
that's right. Oh, I'll knock on it. Knock, knock, knock. Hello, Mr. Bigfoot. Are you there? Oh, hello. Lori Cindy says hello.
No, you got to wait for when the conference is around there. So all the people go there and throwing all the apples there, and Tom Cantrell telling everybody what Bigfoot means is saying underneath there, and how it's feeling and all that.
I have a confession, guys. You ready? So in December, Diane Stocking and I went to Matthew Johnson's Soha location, the place where there's the portal where Adam Davies was apparently violated by gate guardians. Remember that nonsense? Okay. I pissed on the gate portal thing. It's a big giant mud puddle. I took one honking leak on it, and I got a video and a picture to prove it. I piss on portals.
Nice. I wonder if it went through, went through the portal to the other side.
That would have been funny as hell. Yeah. And then I sent that to Matthew Johnson, but I never heard back.
If I can address this real quick, Texas Bigfoot Ranger says, I know Russell has to maintain a proper interaction on social media because of his show watches this behavior. So y'all attacking someone who can't defend themselves, y'all are real heroes.
That's not true. He can defend himself. He can put out a statement that's PC that will do whatever.
He can come on the show.
Yeah, there's
show right now.
No, he could still talk about it.
I would be more than happy to send these Texas guys screen caps.
Yeah, obviously, and I'm sure Richter knows this. Is that Russell was doing some stupid shit on social media as far as the context of, hey, 2021, and you're on a TV show on Discovery Network, right? You probably shouldn't be running around with a Proud Boys hat on. Maybe not, right? Maybe
but
not.
The thing is, he's a poser. He's posing with his gun during the biggest civil unrest of our time.
I'm just saying the gist of it, right?
Well, he's in the new he's in the movie getting made in September of this year over in Eastern Washington. He's one of the top guys, I think. So
yeah. So we're not attacking. I mean, I don't know. Maybe Richter was attacking in his own way. Have you ever seen Off the Richter? The context of Richter is what it is, and I let Richter onto my show, knowing who the hell Richter is, and I'll stand by that. I'm not attacking Russell. I'm being personally. I'm not attacking Russell.
Nobody's getting attacked. He said something So did he say it or not?
He made an extraordinary fucking claim.
Yeah. There's people that back it up. There's nobody being attacked. You know, it's just, you know, just be an adult about it and verify that it's true or not true. I mean, I don't know.
He's made an accusation, and he's been given the opportunity to either put up or shut up. Simple as that.
I agree. That's what it boils down to. Absolutely.
But he has no honor, guys. The man has no honor, period. All right? So don't expect him to say and do the right thing.
Well, you
He
know,
will never apologize because in his world, he is never wrong.
Hey, Richter, he's going to be at Squatch Fest over in Washington, fairly close to you at the end of July. So, you know, maybe that would be a great time.
I know, and I can't wait to go. I'll be the first person.
Yeah. Hey, that's going to be great.
I'll be the first person to stand up during the middle of his presentation and ask him some direct questions. I'll be more than happy to be there.
If you're seriously going, then I'll go.
I might go to a con.
You might have to hold me back.
Somebody better put all the info down.
Yeah, no.
Down now. I got to get a plane ticket.
Everybody turn on your cameras. Here we go.
Yeah, I was debating about going because it's like, you know, it's just, you know, not very special. But yeah, if you're going and if you want to kind of ask him if he doesn't, you know, bring it up, and I think that'd be a great time.
Oh, I'll be more than absolutely.
Yeah, but here's the flip side of that is that Bob might have to deal with the same stuff if he decides to get involved in.
Well, they're going to be at the same convention actually, so that's going to be really weird. But it's going to be great.
Yeah,
you like that face mask? It's squatchy.
It's a little squatchy.
Yeah, just a little.
Yeah, green looks good on you, Rick. I like it.
And no one will
So
recognize you.
Eyelashes and...
Well, that's awesome. So I'll get some tickets.
All right,
Steve,
guys, I got to do some shopping.
Good luck.
Let's talk about this more privately, Brent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Hi,
I mean,
Stephen, Nikki, Stephen, Thomas, and Pat. But this was a lot of fun, and I'm glad to contribute whatever I can to this Bigfoot, even if it is banging the pots and pans, but it's the truth. So, hey.
Yes. Well, I mean, you're only 5 miles from Brent's house anyway right now, so I mean,
I can go there right now if I wanted to.
Yeah, different state, buddy, but both. Pacific Northwest.
Fred Meyer.
Yeah.
It's everywhere out here.
That's the big store here in the Pacific Northwest.
God, it's
right down the street from your house.
Oh, don't forget to use your phone number to get the discounts, because if you don't get them.
Yeah, I got my Fred Meyer card.
Okay, cool.
Oh, yeah.
Cool. Yeah, it's a new policy now. So.
All right, guys.
There he goes.
Now, man.
Hey, Rick.
That's a badass. I'm out of here. I'm just gonna leave it there.
That's almost as good as when the power dropped out on me.
Right. Like anytime it happens to me, I'm like this. I'm like, like, you know. All right. Well, that was interesting.
Yeah. Learned a lot.
Holy shit.
I'm excited for the next couple of few days if Russell, says something. If not, I look forward to the conference to see the weirdness there and the potential confrontation there. This is great.
Well,
when is this conference?
It is the 29th of July, I believe, or 8th.
Ooh, right around the corner.
And where in Washington is it?
It is somewhere on the coast. I think Ocean Shores, maybe. Kelso, Washington.
Kelso, okay.
Yeah.
Unless they open the border, I won't be able to attend because right now we're still COVID closed. So.
That's an easy border to cross.
It really is. Have you ever seen the Canadian border? It's literally like the middle of the street. If you actually cross going the other side of the street of a two-way street, you're actually in Canada. That's our border up north. So yeah, you can sneak over.
Yeah.
Yeah, but sneaking back.
I'll get you. I'll get you, man. Don't worry, I'll get you.
Yeah, it's
I
pretty much the
found it
largest
easy to get into
unguarded
Canada.
border.
It's much harder to get back into the U.S.
Yeah, I haven't been able to cross the line now for 2 years. So
I agree. I think we should build a wall there. Sorry. I went down that road. Canadians are dangerous, though, Nikki. You don't understand. You live down south, like really far away from the border, man. I've been to Canada. They're dangerous people.
They're dangerous.
Yeah, it's a facade.
there's only 2 places where Canadians are dangerous: the battlefield and the hockey rink. Other than that, you're pretty safe.
I jest. Yeah, people are gonna be like, "What? You said Canadians are bad? We should build a wall."
It'd be a small wall. It'd be a small wall, one that you could probably step over. So don't worry about it.
Okay, don't give me more material, Brent, to work off of. Jesus, I'm in that mood, man. I'm in a jovial mood, which is odd good. Because this show started out a way more serious, right? But
well, to get back to the note, I'll just repeat again what I know. I'm now convinced that this accusation by Russel Accord did occur. I do not believe that Richter or Steve Coles are making it up for any reason. Richter did give the impression to the viewing audience here that he's got an axe to grind, but I don't believe that is the case here. I believe he's telling the truth. And I talked to Bob Gimlin this morning, and when I called him, he was unaware of this whole situation, and he told me point blank, there is no confession and no footage of any confession. It did not happen. So again, I'll repeat now, again for the last time, the ball is, or the puck is in.
We'll
Russel Accord's into the rink, and he's got to come forward and show us this so-called confession footage. And that's it.
Well, it's also possible that Bob lied to you and that he is pretty upset about Russ kind of leaking it to certain people, and possible that the footage will never come out because Bob's now going to ask it be destroyed. So that's always a possibility.
Oh, well, yeah. Basically, if the Patterson film is not authentic, that means Bob has been lying to me for 25 years.
Yeah.
At least. So, yeah, that's what it comes down to. Yeah.
And the big
it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting as the day turns. It's like a soap opera sometimes.
Yeah, I know. And I would say this is high school drama if it weren't for the significance of the historic value, in my opinion, of the 1967 captured visual evidence. This is not high school drama. This is serious shit. We're going back to 1967, before I was even born. And and so that is the best visual evidence we have, supposedly, of a Sasquatch. And that's why it's important to hash out and discuss, and why somebody like Russell makes this claim. It has to be addressed and pounced on and vetted. And Russell, hey, Russell, like, what do you got?
Well, he can easily not answer at all. It's like the Streisand effect. If he does answer it, he's just going to bring more attention to it than it would have originally got. So I wouldn't be surprised if, he just kind of lays low until the conferences, maybe cancel some of the conferences or whatever. And there you go.
Again, true. Like, as the Bigfoot turns.
Yeah, sometimes the people in the Bigfoot community are just as entertaining as the subject itself. As Bigfoot. It's just so, I don't know. It makes up such a big part of the subject.
I agree, and maybe I'm taking the bait for that, you know. But at the end of the day, I feel it's important to always vet, like, I mean, to vet that footage, you know. And this is a big claim. This is a huge claim, you know. Something we've never heard before. I mean, come on, dude. It's been 54 years, right? Roughly 54, 53 and a half.
Hey,
Come on, you know.
Hey, Thomas, let me ask you, how did and why did Bob Gimlin get back into the Bigfoot community? Do you know what was his motive or incentive, or was he just welcomed in and just started going to all these conferences? What's your recollection of
Well, it was a very slow process. Right after the film was shot, Al Diatley, Roger Patterson's brother-in-law, basically froze Bob Gimlin out of everything. And there were stories there that would tell you they're unbelievable. I mean, Al Diatley even had an actor pretending to be Bob Gimlin.
The fake Bob
Roger Patterson. So Bob basically went back into the background and sort of disappeared from the whole thing. And for many years, really didn't talk about it unless a documentary crew showed up at his door unexpected, like Arthur C. Clarke's Mysterious World did that one time in the early 80s. But he basically kept quiet about it. What really got him back into it was the late Rennie DeHenden badgering him to go after Mrs. Patterson after Roger had died to get certain rights to certain portions of the film. And Bob got so disgusted with the whole matter, he just gave Rennie his so-called rights for about $20. But through time and telling, and I knew him, and I said, you know, you really got to tell your story there, Bob, and people want to hear it. They want to hear your opinion, because if anybody had any legitimate reason back between 67, say, in 1989, to come out and say, this man faked this film, it's you. Because you were basically frozen out of everything. You were treated very badly. You know, you never got a dime out of any of this. Roger Patterson did make a lot of money off of that footage. And I'd like to say, in defense of Roger Patterson, he spent every dime trying to do it again and didn't. Right? So when Roger Patterson died, he basically had a deathbed makeup with Bob, and they became friends again just before he died. And like I said, Bob had every reason. He had no reason whatsoever to go along with a so-called hoax for about 2 decades. And through us befriending Bob, he slowly started coming out and telling his story at conferences and things like that. And he did so very slowly. And he just told his story the way he has always told it. And this is just the latest controversy that has screamed hoax in his face. It's happened like a dozen times by other people for other reasons, going all the way back, like we were talking about Greg Long and Carl Korff and all of them before that. And he just stuck to his story. He said, this is what happened. I know what I saw. And he even pointed out things that were wrong with the situation. Like he said, the gray dark figure you see in that film is not what I saw with the eye. It was more of a brown color. There was something wrong with that film, you know, and he was right. And he's told me this face to face more times than I can count. And if he's lying, he's making it up. It means he's been lying to my face for a very, very, very long time. And and of course, Russel Accord sort of became his friend and sort of managing stuff for him and befriending him, which means Russell, even though he had this confession, was still taking Bob around these conferences, pushing the Patterson Gimlin case as though it was true and authentic. So what Russel Accord's motivation in this, your guess is as good as mine, man. I have no idea. It boggles the mind. As Rennie would say back in the day, boggles the goddamn mind. You know, and I have no explanation for it other than Russell was trying to lay the groundwork for something that he could make money off of after Bob Gimlin's gone. But I got to tell you, Bob Gimlin is in such great shape. He'll probably outlive me.
Yeah, he is pretty spry.
Yeah.
I've met him a couple of times. He's pretty spry, and he's a really, man, they don't make people like Bob Gimlin anymore. He's a true cowboy, somebody that just, man, you're instantly his best friend, and I'm very very happy that we have somebody like him to be like a figure that we could, have, and that has that integrity and reliability. And
I'm only expressing my own opinion. If it turns out that the Patterson Gimlin film is a hoax film, then Roger Patterson has to be listed as the greatest hoaxer that ever lived.
Yeah, well, you got to think.
I agree.
They were two broke cowboys. Patterson had to have Gimlin basically pay for the whole expedition, so it doesn't make sense that they would go to a different location when they're already broke. He already has to rent the camera, and then go stay 3 weeks and just use even more resources that you don't have, just to do a hoax. It doesn't really make a lot of sense.
And at the time, they had just come out of Mount St. Helens when they got that message from John Green, and they didn't get down there as fast as Roger wanted to, because unlike Roger, Bob had a job and responsibilities to take care of.
Yeah. Isn't that a long way to go?
The whole thing was done on Bob's dime, Bob's gas, Bob's trucks, Bob's horn. Yeah. Bob's food.
Isn't that a long way to go? From Mount St. Helens down to Northern California? That's a long distance.
Yeah, they went back to Yakima, and then they left Yakima to go down there. Yeah, because Roger wanted to get film of footprints. That was the alleged reason. Yeah, because
I'm just saying that's a long way to travel.
Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah,
and Bob had to do all the driving because he told me he hated Roger driving his truck because Roger drove like a maniac.
No.
Yeah, so it's just, if it was a hoax, it's like, wow, they went through a lot of work, used a lot of resources that they didn't need to, because they could have just gone like an hour or two basically to go to prime area to do what they need to do, and so
could have done it on the Mount St. Helens region.
Yeah, for me that's one of the reasons why it's like it's I'm on the fence. For me, the Patterson Gimlin film doesn't make Bigfoot real for me or anything. It's just one of those things. But
it's on the fence with me because the Sasquatch period is on the fence with me. I'm a researcher. I'm trying to find out one way or the other.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see one just to get that out of the way so I can better understand what I'm seeing out in the forest and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Steve, any thoughts?
Oh, I'm just looking at this conversation going on about Accord. Yeah. The only thing that's clear in this is that Accord lied at some point. He either lied with the original story, or he lied when he tried to cover up the story with Steve Kulls the other day.
There's definitely a lie in the mix.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much what Steve said on his show last night. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So,
how about Nikki? Do you have any thoughts there, Nikki?
I always have some thoughts, but let me tell you.
Bring it, girl.
We don't have their stories, and we already kind of know what they're going to say, that it never happened. We don't need to hear from Accord, because he's going to say it never happened, right? He's going to backtrack. Whoever goes to him, it was misconstrued. It's not what how the conversation went, and blah blah blah. But the fact is already boiled down to that he's told more than one person, 2 for sure. And I have a feeling he probably talked to 3 or 4 other people that haven't come forward yet.
Mm-hmm.
So in the next week, we could get more people saying, oh, okay, now I can say, he talked to me 15 months ago about this. And that. I don't know what was going on 15 months ago with him that made him want to spill his guts about this, But
people keep saying through the years that they wonder if Bob Gimlin will say something before he passes away or make a deathbed confession. I was more interested in what Al Diatley had to say just before he passed away, because Al Diatley was the money back then. Al Diatley's the one that froze Bob out of it. Al Diatley was pulling the purse strings.
Right.
But Al Diatley passed away and didn't say a thing. So, yeah. And believe me, Al Diatley was the most arrogant fellow you had. Oh, God. And no. Again, I'll just say this: Russel Accord has made an accusation. It's the puck is in his end of the rink, and he's got to bring that proof forward if it exists.
Back it up, Russell.
Yep.
Back it up. You know,
he's going to be quiet and disappear, and
because I can officially tell you, Bob Gimlin says it doesn't exist. So there you go.
Hey, you know they're going to be together at a conference later this month, so
that's not going to happen.
We'll see.
I don't think that'll
if somebody's going to pull out. We'll see if somebody's going to pull out.
Yeah.
It will be interesting for sure.
I'll say this.
It will. I'm going. I'm sold.
Yeah.
You better have a live feed going.
I will. I will.
Play out beforehand.
I swear to God, I'll have a live feed going too, and I'll probably sit right next to Richter and like just kind of get the whole thing on really epic cinematic type of stuff, and that's gonna be epic. I mean, that'll really bring a conclusion to the whole thing.
Yeah, well,
I think he's gonna play out before then. Here's my prediction. Bob is gonna make a public appearance on a big platform in the very near future. That's my prediction. Or maybe here, maybe not a big platform. Maybe Bob will come here. Maybe he'll feel compelled to come here. I don't know, but
I don't think he has a computer.
Yeah, you're probably right. I mean, I'll trust your judgment on that, Thomas. You know him better than me. I don't know him at all, but
when we had him on the Shoulders of Giants, it was Russel Accord that basically had to sit beside him with a computer so he could participate in the show.
Yeah, Brent or I would probably have to go out to Yakima and get Bob someplace where there is a signal.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it would be a good conversation piece to have with Bob at Sasquatch or Squatch Fest, whatever it's called, later this month. I'd pull him aside, be like, "Hey, man, what's up?"
I'll just say, in my opinion, Bob's got nothing to prove in this accusation. Russell does.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. Yeah,
it's going to be telling too on how everything converges to that conference. Is Russell going to pull out? Is Bob going to pull out? Are they both going to pull out? Or are they both going to go there and just give what people want to see and go home?
Okay, I noticed in the chat a fellow named Kevin Morrison says Russell responded. Please clarify.
He's been saying that he's been talking to him throughout this whole chat. He said he's been talking to Russell, and Russell said it was not the way it went.
Well, hey, send Russell the link and let's get Russell on here, man.
But on his Facebook, there's nothing on Russell's Facebook as of now.
Yeah. Give me a path to send him the link, and I will do that.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
No, but
probably not.
You can try.
And if Kevin Morrison's in communication with Russell, ask him directly. Does this video footage of Gimlin confession exist or not?
He said no.
Oh. Okay. Well,
scroll up. You'll have to scroll up in the chat. It's up there in the chat.
Yeah, he said he's not going to respond, and that's what I figured. He's not going to respond.
Yeah, hey Russell, you are welcome on the show anytime you want, even tonight. I open with that.
Yeah, I got no grudge against Russell at all. I like the guy. I just want to hear his side of the story.
Yeah.
Yep.
No mystery man or anything.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, we all have our opinions, but hey, clarifications always welcome.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough for Squatch Talk. I don't know.
It's always been a fair-
In the past, that hasn't been fair enough for the show. So, why would
depends
that change now?
Depends who you ask.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Russell's welcome to come on.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Okay, someone says Russell's response is higher in the chat. I gotta admit, I don't watch the chat a lot during these shows, so I didn't see it.
Wait, yeah, where are you seeing that?
Russell responded. So Russell have a channel. Look above, guys.
Yeah, I don't know.
Hey, come on. What?
Yeah, I don't see that. It's like everybody keeps saying, "Look above, look above." I'm like, I have no idea.
8:40 timestamp on one of them is 8:48 p.m.
What? Yeah, what region? So like 6 months, 6 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Statement from Russel Accord.
The one below that.
Right.
So that should be interesting, then.
Right. So Richter and Coles are lying.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's. I mean, that's.
I would want to call.
They're lying.
Call Richter a liar. I wouldn't want to call him a liar.
Yeah.
That's probably a bad idea.
I'm wondering if Kevin's statement means watching the footage of the confession, or just watching the PG film in general. What's he talking about?
This footage?
Somebody's fucking lying. Mm-hmm. Is Steve Coles lying to me?
No, man. He's integrity as fuck, man.
Yeah, Steve. If you're watching this, bro, are you lying to me? Are you in cahoots with Richter? I don't know. It doesn't seem like it, but are you? I mean, no. Are you guys fucking lying to me that I have to fall back to Russel Accord? Probably not, but I'll throw that out there to be fair. But Steve, Steve said everything he had to say about it last night. Honestly,
yeah. I'll say I believe Kevin Morrison is talking to Russel Accord, and I'll believe that Russel Accord is saying those things. That doesn't mean I believe Russel Accord in this conversation.
Yeah, if Russ said that he never said that, then I wouldn't believe him. I'm sorry. I believe Richter and I believe Steve Coles.
Yeah.
So, sorry.
And if this is all a big misunderstanding, Russell, I need to hear why it's a big misunderstanding.
Yep. And why aren't you here in person saying it?
Yeah. Tell me what was actually said.
Yeah, you better run to the first show you can get on, Russell.
Yeah, if it's just an honest misunderstanding, then just make a quick video about it. It's not a big deal, It's nothing to hide from. It's not like whatever, Just
I think that might be coming. I think there might be a damage control video coming. Right? Like you said, you used that word earlier,
Did I?
That terminology. Yeah.
Sounds like something I'd do or say.
Yeah.
Well, Russell could solve this right now just by reviewing the so-called confession footage.
Yeah, man. There's no better time. It's all consolidated in one show. It's like, here you go, guys. This is what this whole confession thing was all about. Here's
You don't even need a major network, dude. You can go straight to Netflix or Amazon. I mean, dude, I could put something on Amazon tomorrow. I could put this show on fucking Amazon tomorrow. You kidding me? Yeah.
There's other people. There's other people that know about this. I guarantee you.
Oh yeah, I noticed that the Bigfoot community really is good at it enabling. So yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. The open secrets that kind of pop out sometimes. I love them though.
Well, this is a humdinger.
It is.
I mean, come on, man.
Because you're going to have people on both sides. You're going to have people who are going to fight for Russell. You're going to have people that are going to fight for Bob, and then you're going to have other people who are on the other side. Like, we just want to know the truth. Either way, what really happened, because it got out there.
Yeah. The onus is really on the side that made the accusation.
I agree.
Yeah.
And the Bigfoot world is not going to just turn against Bob, obviously, with an accusation from Russell. Because if you remember, several months ago, when Istal did his thing, the entire Bigfoot community started posting memes and, stand with Bob. I mean, people rallied around Bob, so with that whole, massacre theory that got regurgitated, right, Brent, regurgitated again, but because of a big platform, so yeah, people are going to rally around Bob for the most part, not Russell, unless they're diehard fans of his, television show.
Well, yeah, you got to think he's close friends with some of the Bigfoot personalities, so it's going to be interesting to see how that kind of falls too.
Oh, he was a friend with me. I knew him.
Yeah, I didn't know him. I'm kind of an introverted person, so I don't really seek people out.
Dude, you know more people than me, Brent.
But I got to admit, I met him. I got introduced to him through Bob.
Yeah, well, I met him too, but what it is. Yeah, at one of those conferences that we have here.
Again, I disagree with this. I mean, it was the topic, according to Richter and Steve Coles. It's centered around the PG film.
And it was supposed to be released after him and his wife passed away. So that's kind of
we weren't going to see that film anyway for a while.
Yeah.
Texas Bigfoot Rangers got a point. No, the PG film is not the topic. The topic is an accusation from Russel Accord that Bob Gimlin has confessed to something.
Yeah.
Yeah. That the film was not.
The film is the background.
Yeah. Is not what you think is not what you think is nothing to do with the PG film. Again, dude, that's very subjective. That could go in 1,000 different directions. I mean, if this is all a big misunderstanding, so be it.
And I got a big impression from Richter tonight. Russell said a lot more than that.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I mean, I'm not just gonna
but
I'm not gonna cut quiet.
I'm not downing Richter. Yeah, but he did give the impression tonight that he's got a big axe to grind. So,
and I'll say this, of having to do with Steve Coles. Again, I'll reference, it wasn't too long ago, several months ago, like all of a sudden Steve Coles, it's like asking questions about the Patterson Gimlin film like it was released yesterday. And I'm sitting here going, man, it was a head scratcher. I was like, why is Coles going at it? Almost seemed like he was going after it, in the way he does. And I never understood that. So therefore, I mean, like, Steve's an intelligent guy, dude. Whatever was said to him made him question the film, which would be the implication that there's a direct implication of a confessional video. That's the only thing that would have shaken Steve Coles, dude, from his otherwise pretty grounded foundation of understanding the film that he's defended before many, many times. Not some, misunderstanding, not ambiguity, but a specific claim that it's a hoax.
Yeah. Now, part of understanding what's going on here is Richter obviously knew about this for a long time. So did Steve Coles. Steve Coles described why he kept it secret.
Yep.
And something has obviously changed in the last few days that pushed Richter over the edge in putting this information out. But they both received that information independently.
That is correct. Basically,
correct.
All Coles Stephen did was confirm, yes, that such an accusation was made because he said it to me too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And Richter pretty much broke down why he decided. If you go back in the stream and watch it again, Richter did get to the sort of, the pulling of the pin of the grenade. Why he, why he eventually, there was something that triggered him to go, you know what?
Triggered him. It sounded to me like he was being artillery.
Yeah. Yeah. He was like, you know what? No more, dude. I've had enough of you. I'm going to spill the beans. Yeah. So we got to the bottom of everything. We got, like, Bob Gimlin says, nope, never happened. We got to the bottom of that, like, directly from Bob's mouth via Thomas here, and we got to the bottom of Richter's, like how he got there, and then what finally made him say, you know what, the whole thing about the, I'm pulling my earrings out, motherfucker, like. Yeah. So mission accomplished. We learned something tonight.
Yeah.
It took 3 hours, but yeah, you did. You did.
See, critical thinking and looking into stuff really does help. Really does work.
It does. I mean, it's worth talking about. Again, this is a big claim. You're like, Russell's claiming that he can definitively debunk the Patterson-Gimlin film.
Well, I mean,
confession, right?
Yeah, that's Bob Gimlin's manager right there. So, I mean, he's closest to Bob in a business aspect than anybody else. So, to have somebody that close to Bob making some statements like that, yeah, that's pretty big.
So, can Russell explain what he meant by "it's not what you think"?
Right. Again, the subjective thing. Like,
well, no, because that one dude's talking to him, right? Kevin Morrison is talking to Bob, right, or to Russ right now, right?
Supposedly. I don't know.
That'd be great. That's a great question to ask. No. Well, I thought that's what.
Well, that's the root question, because that's the leading statement that led both Coles and Richter to believe that the Patterson-Gimlin film is not what you think.
Right. So, yeah, again, what does that mean?
Yeah, so, hey, Kevin, if you are watching and still talking to him, can you ask him that specific question, what he meant by that, and respond back quickly if you can? Thank you.
Yeah. So that could mean this. Like, I'll give you a hypothetical. Patterson-Gimlin film isn't what you think. Bob Gimlin told me, and I have an interview of Bob Gimlin saying, man, I think this thing was paranormal. I don't think it was an ape. I think it was some kind of demon. Right? You see, like, so you could go in all those kinds of directions about
but he's already
what you think.
Yeah, but he's already talking about that type of stuff now in recent videos. So I think he's okay talking about that type of stuff. But
my conclusion would be that's just Bob expressing his own interpretation of what he saw that day.
Yeah, sure. I was just giving a hypothetical.
Yeah.
Isn't what you think.
Do with a vague statement like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Who knew first, Richter or Steve?
Richter.
Yes, that's the cadence that I got from Steve.
Yeah, Steve came forward because Richter dropped his name.
Yeah, and the way Steve told the story last night is that the Richter knew first.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, according to Steve, Russell was trying to backtrack, saying that Richter had misunderstood, and Steve basically had the impression that Russell had forgotten he had told him the same thing.
Yes, and yeah, that's hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously,
but Steve already knew, right?
Steve is known for quite some time.
That's what I want to know. How long Steve knew before Richter said something?
About a year.
We did a show on Steve's Squatch Detective debunking the MK massacre theory about over a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was a year ago. And back then, for me to get on one of these things, he had to hold a cell phone up to the mic because I didn't have the cameras and everything then. And I believe he said it was after that show because Russel Accord was also on the panel that night. Russell, after the show was over, that's when Russel Accord mentioned this confession to Steve.
So we can find that out. We can find the exact day.
You can go back on Squatch TV and look at that episode. It's still up.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a year. It's been like a year and a
People
half.
are going to try to say that it's all Richter, that this is all Richter because he's jealous or he wants to take something out on Accord. They're all going to try to say that in the coming week, you know?
Yeah, but Nikki, that discussion would have been backstage after the show.
Yeah. The off camera talk afterwards.
Right. Which I guess nobody recorded. But still, I mean, I believe Steve. Like,
I mean, that's two good sources right there. You know, it's can't pin it on Richter or anything else. You know, it's those are two reliable sources that you know, we're lucky that it's those two, not other people.
But this is one thing I was trying to say in the chat yesterday with Steve Coles. That statement that it's not what you think it is vague and leading, and it's intended to bring your mind down to a certain conclusion in some way, or it seems that way. And yet it's vague enough that later on you could say, oh, wait, no, you misunderstood what I was saying.
Sure. Yeah, it's an out. And Coles brought that up last night. He addressed that many times. He called it a cushion. You know, like, oh, he took some money. Well, he stole $1,500 from grandma. Like, that's two different, like, narratives, right? Oh, he took some money. Yeah, and that was the example, you know, the cushion example.
But that was Steve Coles presuming that it's not what you think it is means it's a hoax. And it doesn't specifically say that.
But it's also, he also said about it being released after Bob and his wife died.
Right.
Which could, you know, which implies that the whole film is fake.
Yes.
There's no other reason why.
Big time.
This is what Leon calls priming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I think at least with Richter, there was a little more detail involved. Sounds like. At least with Richter. So yeah, I mean, it's an out. It's a back door. I mean, but you know, this was interpreted by those two individuals as Bob Gimlin has a confession tape. And there has to be a reason for that. Again, these aren't dum-dums. They're not going off just some one little tiny statement. This is a discussion that was had.
Yep.
So for them to come out of it going, holy shit, there's a confession tape coming. That's not like ambiguity, man. There's specifics.
Well, listen to those words. Those words are designed deliberately to lead your mind down in a certain direction without filling in the answer for you. You fill in the answer yourself.
Sure. But still, somebody's leading them down that road.
Yeah.
And when that happens, it's purposeful.
What we don't know is why.
It's still purposeful, is my only point.
Possibly.
On Russell's.
Probably.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I would say definitely, but that's my opinion.
That's
and Donald Fuller has a good point.
What?
Did you see what he just put on there?
Recently, just now?
Yeah, just the one right now. If Russell wanted it out and he confided in two people who have a tendency to find out.
Steve kept his mouth shut.
Yeah, Colesley kept his mouth shut.
Well, so did Richter for 15 months until he snapped.
Right. Yeah. And to that I say, why in the hell would you tell Richter?
Right.
Yeah.
Everybody knows Richter. And you have to be careful talking to Richter because you never know if he's going to put you in one of his shows.
Well, I think that they were really good friends, and I think that's why he probably confided in him, because I think Richter's probably a really cool guy, in real life and stuff. So I could see them becoming really good friends, like Richter said, and they just confided in him one day, saying, "Hey, this is what's kind of going on," and I could definitely see that happening.
Yeah, and Richter, again, rewind the stream or watch it tomorrow. Richter said all that. I mean, he definitely laid out the entire scope.
Well, that was our kind of the conversation when it all happened, and I got on right away to start chatting with Richter. I said, "Hey, we're talking about what's happening, and you have stirred the pot. You need to come on, and you need to explain what's going on." And he goes, "Well, I'm at the
dumped it into the fire."
Yeah, he goes, I'm at the gym right now. I just got to the gym. I go, hurry up and do what you got to do, and then come back out. And he did. It took him half an hour, and he came back on, and we were still talking. So, he wanted to. He had no reservations at all coming.
Well, of course not.
I
believe that. Yeah.
Secrets can be very fleeting in this community, and so can alliances and friendships. I've noticed that they seem to shift like sand in the desert.
Well, it all comes down to two men claim an accusation was made, and Russell, box in, you're in. You can solve this with one good slap shot. Just show us the so-called confession. Or if they did misunderstand you and make a mistake, show us how they made a mistake. Explain it to us.
Yeah. Explain what that phrase means. That's a really great place to start.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great. I don't really expect it happening though.
Nope.
No, I never expect it, but it's nice. Yeah.
One can always be surprised.
Yeah. Well, we'll know at the end of the month what the relationship is. That's for sure.
Yeah. According to Richter, him and Steve aren't the only people that Russell said this to. I'm hoping to hear from more of them as the week goes on.
Yeah.
It's gonna blow up.
Yeah. I think that there's a few people who know. Me and Richter were talking about it earlier. Some good. I'll tell you guys offline, but yeah, people know.
Yeah, it's gonna blow up. I mean, I'm surprised it didn't blow up quicker than it did. It was that obscure Reddit thread that was only posted right on critical thinking.
Yeah,
And, I love critical thinking group, but it's not, it's not 50,000 people. It's not Sasquatch Chronicles fans, So yeah, it was people like us that it got the attention of, and now has grown. And of course, Steve Cole's name got dropped, and then he did a show, just getting ahead of it and going, "Hey, I did hear this. I had nothing to do with it." Right? He's basically trying to remove himself, and I'm like, okay, I'll keep going with it. I think it's worth discussing.
Mm-hmm. And unlike Richter, Stephen, to me, didn't seem to have any axe to grind or anything like that. So
true.
He was just confirming, hey, what you told Richter, you told me too.
Oh no, Steve struggled with it. I could tell. He said more than once, he's like, man, Russell, I'm not attacking you, bro. But, because he has a relationship with Russell, So, Steve was being Steve, he had to be himself and cut Russell off and go, look, dude, this isn't cool at this point, I have to get out ahead of this. It's on you, not me,
Because he was confronted with conflicting information.
Yes.
And that's what he put out.
And that's exactly why he had to speak up because of that. And, the fact that his phone's blown up because his name's involved,
Just
so
wait.
Yeah.
The next few days, there's going to be all kinds of podcasts about this.
Yeah, but it's the drinks cart rolling into the infinity pool. There's going to be waves for a little while. It'll smooth out.
It will. I predict this will all be wrapped up in 2 weeks. Easy. All wrapped.
Maximum.
So why don't we leave it at that? We've been going over 3 hours, and I got some things to do before it gets dark.
All right. Yeah, I'm fine with wrapping it up.
Anyone else have anything they want to point out?
I think we've covered it.
Yeah, I don't know what else to say.
Nikki?
I don't have anything else to say about this. I think it's all gonna come out this week. We'll hear a lot of stuff, but I do want to say that I had the most awesome time at the Virginia Bigfoot Con this last weekend that it has made me, I am going to try my best to get there every year, forever and ever, because I met the most awesome people and had the best time.
It was fun.
I've had, and got to sit next to him and eat pizza and and joke around. And
it looked like a lot of fun. You guys had a lot of fun there. Great turnout too.
Yes, it
Great
was
turnout.
full for his capacity. He was full, and
awesome.
The vendors were awesome. The speakers were awesome. Everybody just had a great time, and I don't know what else to say other than it was a good show.
It was a good time. I learned a lot from all that, and so it's kind of weird to be swimming so deep in the waters of what we're swimming in now compared to where we were just a week ago. Nikki,
mm-hmm.
Who could have predicted this, right?
No, we don't know.
Yep. But you know me, man. I'm not afraid to swim in those waters.
Yeah. It's not going to stop how things are going. It
I know.
won't. We're going to keep on doing because there's just too many people who have seen them, and too many people, I think we all believe, all the knowers out there. And
well, we had Jay Birch on tonight. He's one of those people that I believe, that I think is telling the truth. And it's not the PG film that really sells me on the Bigfoot phenomenon.
Yeah, that's true, man.
Jay.
Yeah,
exactly.
Jay is not full of crap.
Yeah, so it's people like him that really give validation to the subject, and there's a lot of people like him out there.
And and obviously Patrick Vaughn is another one.
Patrick Vaughn too. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, they're the ones who make me the believer. So.
And I'm highly skeptical of people too. It's like with Patrick, it took me months to really kind of vet him out.
Right.
These guys all know because I kept talking to them about it.
Well, Patrick and Jay, those are two straight up guys. Even Steve, man, has his own stuff, and
the film is kind of irrelevant to me. If it wasn't the big hairy guy that pushed my car, what left the handprint on the fender?
Yeah, I hear you, Steve. I mean,
hey man, we should go check out that area where it happened. It'd be interesting to go see the area now and kind of, I don't know, it'd be fun, something to do.
Yeah,
absolutely.
The only thing that's pretty much the same there is the road. It's been clear cut at least one more time since then.
Yeah, well, that whole area, it's got a lot. I mean, I go exploring up there because of all the Bigfoot reports and things that I've heard.
Yes, and the colony wasn't there at the time.
Yeah. There's a nudist colony up there now. Sometimes they like to get out naked, high on drugs.
Oh, God.
Yeah, but they're not nearly here enough, unfortunately.
Are you referring to the PG film site itself?
No.
No, the place up here.
The place I had
different area.
Bump in.
I can tell you with perfect confidence now, the place is more remote now than it was in '67.
Yeah.
That's what I hear.
Yeah.
But hey,
or at least it was in 2003. That's the last time I was there.
Well, hopefully the borders open up soon, and it'd be great to get you down here to go do some exploring in the Cascades here. Some great places to show you, and hopefully that opens up.
Yeah, and the same game. You ever get up to BC, gang? Come on up. We'll go do some exploring.
Yeah, I'm gonna get my passport soon, so I'll take you up on that.
All right.
Connection.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Right. Well, I'm going to wrap it up, guys. And thanks for coming on. Thanks for having this important discussion, I feel like. Great discussion. A lot was said. That's for sure. And I stand by everything that was said. Everyone that was on the show tonight was invited on the show, and I will own that personally. So that's how we roll here at Squatch Talk. We let people have their say, and that's that. So anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. I'm going to end the broadcast. Thanks for coming on. Great discussion. We will see you hopefully next Tuesday. I'll have a brand new show cranked out. And I don't know, we might be talking about this again, guys. Maybe next Friday. We'll see. We'll see how it plays out, right? So thanks, chat. Hit that like button, like and subscribe, all that. It helps with the freaking analytics and all that shit. I don't know. So
yeah, it really does, actually.
Yeah, it does. So if you enjoyed the show, hit that like button, and I will see you guys later. Thanks for watching.